what do you got?
I think I can prove to a judge that both of these men had the mens rea.
What the hell is a mens rea?
It's a legal term the lawyers use. It just means the intention to commit a crime.
Okay, come on, let's go.
Mens rea?
Put the cuffs on him.
How could we have gotten mens rea? We take blood? Can you do it without taking blood? We both use condoms. How is this possible? I want to see a doctor. Can I have an independent blood test?
Money!
I feel sick.
What are you doing?
Mens rea! Oh! Oh! My God! No!
Hey, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Hi, it's me, Legal Vices, just coming back from finishing up my stream a few seconds ago, doing our review of our weekly review of bits and pieces of the O.J. Simpson trial. Glad to have all of you here. Those of you that followed me on over, thank you for doing so. You guys rock and are awesome. The court stream is up. It is silent. We've got some good stuff here. Let's bring it up so we can all be on the same page real quick here so we will all know when it starts. Boom, and embiggen it. There we go. We got a lovely blue background from Law and Crime today. We've got the state seal that we've just dubbed Hooters because we can't figure out if those are tits or an owl. So Hooters works for both, and the lovely chandelier with a little heating duct and some speakers next to it. That appears to be the view we've got going right now. How are we all doing today? Today begins the prosecution's case in chief. They are going to be putting on their very first witnesses. Who will it be? Will they go with victims? Will they go with police? Will they go with medical examiners? Who is first on the list? Let's find out as the court decides when it wants to come up. Make sure we've got the volume on. We've got the volume on. It was very loud last time, so we'll bring the volume down just a bit to make sure it's not as scary loud as it is. This is the courtroom with the best audio and video I've seen yet in recent times. So great. Welcome to everybody that's here watching and waiting for this to begin. Currently, we've got 154 viewers, 229 viewers. I'm sorry. It just updated on me. And 142 likes. While we're here, before we get going, let's take the like poll. We've got a like poll set up. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so, and hit the like button. And then come over here and take our like poll. We've got 154 votes and 147. Oh, we're even. Holy crap. This is like the first time we've ever had the same number of likes. Usually we have more people taking the poll than actually hit the like button. Today, here we, oh no, seriously? That's funny. All right, we'll get to that in just a second. How hard did you hit the like and subscribe button? Our choices today are hard as a good Russian slap fight, hard as a Chinese algebra, whatever that means, and gently, because I don't believe in violence, and hard as bullets hitting your family. I tried to say bullets and shotgun. With shells wouldn't hit them either. It would be the shot from the shotgun, but it was far too long. So hard as bullets hitting your family. Those are the four choices we've got. Go hit that, hit the like, hit the subscribe, take our like and subscribe poll. We'll get back to that in an hour or so, see how we're doing. And as soon as he wakes up and is ready to come on the stream, Andrew, Legal Mindset, will be joining us. And just about 3 hours from now, in the middle of the lunch break, hopefully, we will jump on over to his stream. We'll hand it off to him. I'll hang out with him for a little bit. Then I'll go to sleep and get some much needed rest. All righty. That's where we go. And so what else do we have to talk about here? Microsoft Edge, go away. All right. Super chats are a thing. If you want to get my attention, anything you super chat will be read and answered. We do not require super chats to address me, but every super chat you give, large or small, is deeply appreciated, accepted, welcomed, and I will address it. We'll try to talk about some of the other things that are brought up in chat. And
good morning.
We got a triple camera today. Wow. And how is the volume on the court and me? Are we balanced? Is the court too loud? Am I too loud? What's going on here? Let me know.
An email was sent to my chambers at 5:52 p.m. yesterday by someone by the name of Chris Wilson, who I don't know whether it's the Chris Wilson, who's on the witness list or not, complaining about the violation of my court order prohibiting the disclosure of the identity of jurors. Did not respond to the email, and I'll make the email part of the record in the case. If counsel can look at it if you like.
It hasn't even started, and there's drama on day one. God, I love his chair. I want his chair. That judge has a sweet chair. Well, I was going to put up a guilt or innocent poll, but just because of you, Darth, no, I'm not going to. Shame on you. We'll do it old school style. 1, if you think he's guilty. 2, if you think he's not guilty. The chair is from the 1930s. Well, so are most of the lawyers here. Most of the lawyers are from the 1930s. All right. Well, we got now, Michelle. You can only vote once. There you go. See, it's already being abused. 3. Okay, we don't have a 69 yet. We don't have a 420. There we do. We do have a 69. Brandon's got a 69. Kitty with her 666. Yeah, that's exactly how these polls go. So there you go. And Darth Hideous insisting that the correct answer is 2. Andrew Sun says Uncivil Law had a big whinge about legal advice getting more views of this trial than him yesterday. Well, I certainly hope that's not the case, because we like Kurt. Kurt's a decent man. He's a good guy. I hope he wasn't whinging about that, because hey, if that's the case, then I should be whinging about Ricada getting more than me, and Ricada should be whinging about Emily D. Baker getting more views than all of us combined times about 4. We're just doing our own thing. Everybody has a different take. Everybody has a different style. Everybody has a different approach. You go where you like, Everybody's welcome to go to somewhere else. Everybody's welcome to stay here. I hope you'll stay here, because we try to be witty and amusing, a little irreverent. And what's going to happen if super chats come in, I will just flash them up on the screen. I'll flash them up on the screen, and we'll read them during breaks. We'll read them so we don't keep talking over the judge and the questions and whatnot. Yeah, I hope he didn't do that, though. That would be disappointing.
Anything before the jury comes?
Well, we're off to a good start if the entire
Your Honor,
jury is going to be coming. Wow.
The video he's about to show has, I believe, and I believe he agrees, images which are under the order signed by you. And so as they're being proposed to be shown, if I have something or he has something, we're going to, obviously under that order, we have to disclose that to you. And if you approve the showing, we've got some logistical issues. If you give me just a minute, these monitors are, that one is not working, but this monitor is viewable from the audience, and we'd like to cover it up with some MacGyver-like device.
MacGyver. See, I told you these guys are from the 30s.
Mr. Waters, where you tape paper, we can flip back and forth. So if somebody has some tape, I'd like to do that before we begin, so that nothing's shown back there. And you got paper too? I'm sorry.
That's good.
Is that a compliment?
I got a compliment. All right, and so this is a good example of what's happening. Like, we'll read the super chats during breaks like this. Just me, Nicole says, don't forget sending me your pups pics. I will. I'm super busy today. I'll get to those as soon as I can. It may take a little longer than I thought. Eva Torres, this town was built on a swamp of bleach. Jeebus Sea White. Okay. But yeah, this is kind of seems to be kind of a shady little town. There's like the epitome of the small southern town, where But now apparently they want to show the video. But as you might recall from yesterday, there is an order that the graphic stuff, the super graphic stuff, won't be shown publicly outside of the courtroom. The jurors, the people in the courtroom, the lawyers, the judge, the court staff, everybody will be able to see it, but we won't. She was attempting to say Jesus Christ. Okay. No, by pups he means dogs. Nice Jefferson. No, this was Starship.
You may thank the jury.
Nice Starship reference. Yeah. We built this city on rock and roll. Great song, by the way. Love me some Grace Slick. YouTube wouldn't let me type whiteness, so I didn't take a chance on Jesus Christ. You should always take a chance on Jesus Christ. Accept him as your personal Lord and Savior. Just take a chance. Take a chance on me. Take a chance, take a chance, take a chance, chance. Yes, the Jew rowers are on their way in. And so far, the closed captioning has been remarkably entertaining. So if you get a chance, check out the closed captioning at the top of the screen. It's a lovely blue background, matches the ceiling quite well. The lovely chandelier. ABBA and IKEA. Oh, Jenna, you are just too darn kind. See, this is the kind of stuff I would interrupt the judge to read. Legal Vices is unmatched on the internet. You're the best, Jeff. Ah, that's so sweet of you to say. And dang, I'm super color coordinated. Got me a green hat, a green pipe, a green shirt, a green sweater, even a green watch. There you go. I'm not only am I the best thing, I'm the most color coordinated. Oh, today I feel like he's guilty, says Flux. I'm going to flip-flop on how I identify him. Okay, you're welcome. You're entitled to flip-flop. Oh, Mrs. K. Griff, Legal Vice is the only channel I pay for a membership for. So, yeah. Well, thank you for doing that. If anybody else wants to pay for a membership, just right on down there. There's a little membership button. You can click on it, choose your subscription level. It's just how much you want to be a member. There's no real difference between the levels, and we should be doing a members only stream this weekend, I hope. Probably early Sunday morning. Could be early Saturday morning. I don't know. I haven't decided.
Good morning.
Good morning, Judge.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for day number 4 of this session of court.
Yes, sir, it is.
Day number 2 of this trial. As I instructed you prior to us commencing yesterday with the opening statements, you're not to listen, watch, or read any news accounts of this case or discuss it with anyone or allow anyone to discuss it with you or in your presence. Has that occurred as to any jurors? All right, very good. It's very important that you keep that, follow that instruction. I know that many of you are not accustomed to sitting for long periods of time, and certainly not in settings like this. But if at any time you need a break,
he means you got to take a piss.
Notify the bailiff, who will bring it to my attention, or raise your hand so that I could see. And
if you got to urinate, please tell the bailiff.
Time any juror would need a break, or any court participant for that matter.
So basically, just be the one that's shame. Raise your hand. Everybody knows you got to take a piss.
Yes, where are you, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, the state would call
Here we
Sergeant
go.
Daniel Green.
They're going with the police force to begin with. All right, we are starting the cross-examination, the direct examination of the first witness for the prosecution's case in chief.
Raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give to the court in this trial will be the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. You may have a seat. Adjust that microphone so that it fits you.
That's a well-groomed man.
If you'll state your name and spell your last name for the record.
My full name is Daniel Green. My last name Greene.
Sergeant Green, how you doing today?
I'm good.
All right, tell us where you work.
I work for the Carlton County Sheriff's Office.
Okay, and your rank is sergeant, obviously, is that correct?
That's correct.
Tell us just a little bit about yourself. Just give us just a little bit of your background that led you to your career in law enforcement, if you would, please.
Sure. I went to school here, grew up here, went to college at Charleston Southern University. I got a degree in social studies education, taught for a little while, and then got into law enforcement. Just kind of fell into it and liked it. And I've been here since 2014.
Okay. You started with the Sheriff's Department in 2014?
That's correct.
All right, and what was your first job that you did, or how does your career progress?
I started at the jail. I worked there for just over a year, and then I was moved to the road patrol. I was on road patrol for several years. Moved up the ranks to sergeant, where I was a road patrol
It's a great
supervisor.
Motorhead song.
And
We
now
are
I'm
the
a
road
detective.
crew.
Okay. When did you become detective?
Earlier last year. It would have been June of last year.
Back in June of 2021, what was your job at that particular time with the Sheriff's Department?
In June of 2021, I was a road patrol sergeant supervisor.
All right, and explain how that works. What's your exact role as a sergeant and a road patrol supervisor?
So for the most part, I'm assigned a team consisting of 3 to 4 deputies, just depends. That include a corporal as well as several other deputies. My job primarily is to supervise them in their in a 12-hour shift. We answer calls for service. Sometimes I'll go with other deputies to calls that require more than one officer to be present. But the majority of my job is supervising what they do.
And during June of 2021, were you working day shift or night shift, or how did that work?
I was on night shift at that point.
And what are the hours of the night shift?
So we swap every 2 months. So 2 months you'll be on days, 2 months you'll be on nights. For those hours, it's 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. or 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Okay. And let me take you to the evening of June 7th, 2021. Were you working that particular evening?
I was.
What shift were you working that day?
We're on night shift,
And again, so what hours would that be?
working from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
So you went on duty at 6 p.m.
All right,
I do.
ladies.
Yeah.
Okay. And you
Smash or
said you're the
pass?
sergeant. What was the?
Well,
you have a
ladies
squad
and/or
that
men
you're
that want to
supervising that
participate,
are out during
are we
that
smashing
shift?
or passing
Explain
in
that to
here?
the jury, if you would, please.
So that shift consisted of myself being the sergeant. I had a corporal and 2 deputies working as well. And at that point, I had a lieutenant who was my immediate supervisor. He was working as well.
All right. Again, you tell me who those people were?
Sure. So my corporal was Corporal Janicki, and the 2 deputies working with me were Deputy William Pruitt and Deputy Chad McDowell.
And the lieutenant was who?
Lieutenant Lonnie Nettles.
Did you, on the evening of June 7th, 2021, get a call for service at 4147 Moselle Road?
I did.
And you remember approximately what time that was?
Later in the evening, several hours into my shift.
And did you ultimately respond to that location?
I did.
What was reported to you that led to the call for service from dispatch?
That there was a caller who stated he had found his wife and son shot.
And so tell me what happens then. You get that report. What do you do?
So I get that call for service. Obviously, we immediately respond. In situations like that, we would respond with lights and sirens to get there as quickly as possible.
You're driving fast to get there?
Yes.
The lights are on?
Lights were on, siren was on.
The
I think it
lights
still
are
took me
on,
close to 20
the
minutes to actually
siren's
get to the
on,
scene from
your
where I
own
was.
mind is not your own.
You have to ask dispatch to clarify the address?
I did. Once I got out there, it's a very dark area, very rural area on Moselle Road. There were not a whole lot of residences in the area, and I did need clarification once I got out there to confirm the address. Then I located the address on a mailbox across the street from a driveway.
So you saw the mailbox in the driveway you entered, is that correct?
That's correct.
The driveway that you entered that had this mailbox, where did it ultimately lead? What structures were there as you pulled up to the scene?
As I pulled down the long driveway, when I got to the end of it, there was a dog kennel area on the left, as well as a shed area on the right.
And that was the driveway with the mailbox, correct?
That was.
Is this location where the scene was, is it in Colleton County?
It is.
Tell me just a little bit before we get into more specifics. What was the, you said it was dark. What was the weather like? What was the conditions of the scene or the weather in the scene like?
So quite normal for June around here. It's rather hot and humid. It had been raining a little bit off and on that evening. It was not raining at the time that I actually responded to the scene.
Okay. Were you the first law enforcement officer or first responder on the scene?
I was.
Were there others, other first responders following close behind?
The additional first responder that was directly behind me worked for Colleton County Fire Rescue. He pulled in almost the same time I did.
If you remember, one of the jurors, one of the prospective jurors was the husband or boyfriend of the second guy on the scene.
Like this? What are you there to do as a first responder, the first officer on the scene?
Yeah, so a major crime scene like that, my job is to get there, secure the scene. And what I mean by secure the scene is ensure that there are no individuals there that would potentially cause harm to additional first responders coming there or any witnesses or victims that are already on scene. Preserve any evidence that might be there, and then wait for investigators to arrive as I gather information from anybody else that is already on scene.
Okay. So you're going to gather basic information, but your job's not to investigate it in great detail.
That's correct.
Okay. As you arrived at this scene, again, what had been reported to you by dispatch?
That a male caller had called and said he found his wife and son shot.
And from that report to you, about how long did it take you to ultimately make it onto the scene?
It was roughly about 20 minutes.
Okay. When you arrived on scene, when you said one of the things that you do is secure the scene, were you at all concerned about any perpetrators still being there at that point in time?
When I arrived, not necessarily, just because he had already been there for quite a while. Whenever he called, it seemed the way the call came in that he discovered them like that and that there was nobody else there other than him and the wife and son.
So you're the first officer on scene, but you're not thinking the perpetrators are still there.
It's something you have to keep in the back of your mind, but not necessarily at the forefront.
Okay. All right. You didn't come in hot with guns drawn or anything like that?
No.
They're all wearing various shades of blue and purple.
When you
today.
arrived at the scene and you walked and got out of your car, what did you see?
So as soon as I got out of my vehicle, I was walking down the rest of the driveway, which went between the dog kennel and the shed. As I could see Mr. Murdaugh down at the end of the driveway. As I approached toward him, I could see the male victim laying on the ground to my left, as well as the female victim on the ground to my right. The male victim was close to a small shed in the dog kennel on the left. There was a large deal of blood that had pooled around his body. Same thing for the female victim on the right. Also a large amount of blood around her body.
Oh, you guys are.
You approached and at first saw the male victim and the female victim. What was your assessment? Was there any possible signs of life from your?
My initial assessment was that there was not. There appeared to be a large amount of blood around each of them, as well as brain matter.
Did you ultimately have a conversation with Mr. Murdaugh when you were out there?
I did.
Right. And do you see him here in the courtroom today, the person that you talked to?
I do.
And can you point him out to the jury, please?
Yes, sir. He's right there wearing a dark blue or black jacket.
Everybody's wearing dark blue.
He's identified Mr. Murdaugh.
It does.
Literally everybody's wearing dark blue.
When you ultimately approached Mr. Murdaugh, what's the first thing that you did?
The first thing I did was ensure that he did not have any weapons on him. That's standard procedure for arriving on a scene like that. Any kind of weapons that are anywhere on the scene, I want to be aware of just so I can know whether they're there or not. And if they are there, who has access to them at any point. And that's for my safety as well as other responding officers and for anyone else that's on scene.
Did Mr. Murdaugh give you any possible explanation for this when you approached him?
His immediate reaction was to start telling me about an incident that had happened with his son with a boating accident.
Oh, that's interesting. His wife's blasted.
Anything about that?
I did not.
Oh, interesting.
You ultimately, were you wearing a body worn camera that particular?
I was.
Yes, body cam.
And
Flux.
you ultimately had a conversation with Mr. Murdaugh for a fairly extended period of time. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Did you ever see any tears in your interactions with Mr. Murdaugh?
He did not appear to be crying. He was upset, but I did not see any visible tears.
No more tears.
Did Mr. Murdaugh tell you that he had any sort of firearm?
He did. He stated that he had left from that scene, went to the residence, grabbed a shotgun from that residence, and then brought it back because he felt like he needed to have it just in case something else were to happen.
Wait, so his
So
wife
he'd
and
gone
son
back
were
to the
blown away.
residence after finding the victims to get that gun.
He did.
Yeah. Okay, that's weird.
What, if anything, did you do once he told you that he had gotten a gun?
First, he pointed out where the gun was. It was leaning against the vehicle that he was driving at the time. I could see that it was a camouflage shotgun. I spoke with him for a few more minutes, and just based off of how nervous he was acting and anxious and upset, I decided it was in everyone's best interest to get that shotgun and secure it in my vehicle so that no one else had access to it.
So you put that shotgun in your vehicle, is that correct?
I did.
What did you ultimately do with that shotgun? Did you later turn it over to additional law enforcement?
Yes, after it was secured in my vehicle, once SLED arrived on scene to do their further investigation, it was then turned over to SLED.
Bear with me 1 second.
All right. Darth Hideous says, fuck the police. Come on, the policeman had some good songs. I think all the police. I can't think of a bad police song off the. Okay.
I asked that we have
Maybe
the.
my mother's calling. Bacon. Don't talk about bacon. We have Jew roars in here. Kaiser Pineapple says, nice Falcon. What are you smoking today? Good on you for identifying a Falcon pipe from a distance. That's a good one. What do we got in here now? We have
Judge, do you want to see it first? I believe it's
G&H American Black Cherry.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I publish it to the jury?
Yes.
Nice spot on the Falcon pipe there. And to be fair, Jefferson Starship was fucking awful. I bought that album for $1, 99 cents too much. Well, that was Starship, knee deep in the hoopla that had that song. That was just the Starship. They dropped the Jefferson.
All right, I'm going to put what's been marked as.
Jefferson Airplane's heuristic pillowcase was much better, in my opinion. No offense. Nope. Actually, the original Jefferson Airplane, White Rabbit, is still one of my favorite songs of all time.
Exhibit 3 up on the screen, and see if I can get it the right way.
Got my mother on the phone. Telephone is ringing. And my mom hated it.
All right. You can't see. Can you see that? You probably can't.
I can.
See. You can? All right. And do you recognize the what's in that particular image?
I do.
All right. And tell me what that is, please.
That's the shotgun that I secured in my vehicle on the scene.
Okay. See,
Now, just stay here, Mike. This is where you need to be. This is where the best people are. This is where the best chat is. This is where all the cool kids hang out, man. Uh-oh. One of the boomsticks. When I worked at a heavy metal station, we played like oldies, heavy metal, heavy metal, classic rock. Inagata DeVita was my, don't tell the FCC, but I'm closing down the station. I'm running down to 7-Eleven. And on the way, I'm going to pick up a pizza from Domino's, run to 7-Eleven, get a bag of Chips Ahoy, 2 bottles of Jolt Cola, some Vivarin tablets, and heading back to the radio station before the next song. You can do a lot. You can do a lot during Inagata DeVita. Joe Walsh's Life's Been Good is a really long bathroom break song. You could reach kids during that song. Yeah, Rackets is a sex cuck freak. EDB has no chat interaction. Kurt is good, but Jeff is all of those things combined in one easy to read package. Anybody wants to read my package, just let me know. How long is Stairway to Heaven? Stairway to Heaven is, God, I can't tell you. It's about 7 minutes, I believe. Inagata Devita ranges between, the long version ranges between 21 and 24 minutes. If I recall, Joe Walsh's Lifespan Good is about 12 minutes. That's back when people had attention span.
Sergeant Green, I'm going to show you what's been
All right.
marked as Exhibit 4 for identification at this time. And see if you recognize this particular item.
Yes, sir. That would be the shotgun that I secured.
All right. Your Honor, this time we would move Exhibit 4 into evidence.
Objection.
Oh,
Any objection?
No, sir.
Admitted.
Paradise by the Dashboard Lights is a
May I have
very long
Sergeant Green
song.
show this firearm to the jury?
Yes.
I'll be sure not to point at anybody, of course.
Yeah, that's the short version. There's I think the live is about 23 minutes.
All right, Sergeant Green, I'm going to show you one other document before we move on to some other matters. All right, Your Honor, I believe I'd move to admit that State's Exhibit 2 without objection.
And no objection, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to show this exhibit to you real quick and see if you recognize this document.
Yes, sir. That would be the chain of custody for the shotgun.
All right, is there a signature on that document?
It is.
All right, and what does this chain document reflect? Can you just generally explain what this means to the jury, please?
That I originally took possession of that weapon and then turned it over to SLED investigators.
All right. May I publish this exhibit, Your Honor?
Yes.
So up here it lists that there was a Vanelli Super Black Eagle. Did you unload this particular shotgun?
I did not.
Okay. But you ultimately turned the shotgun in its loaded state over to the agent listed here, is that
I
correct?
did. I did.
Did you alter or change the weapon in any way between the time you took it and the time you took it over to SLED?
No, I didn't manipulate it in any way.
You didn't fiddle with it. Didn't get up to any shenanigans. You didn't discombobulate it.
Sergeant Green, I'm going to show you what's been marked for identification at this time as State's Exhibit number 1, see if you recognize this.
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, and can you tell the jury what this is on this disc right here?
That would be the body camera footage from that incident.
From your arrival at Moselle Road and through the investigation until at some point you turned it off after it no longer needed to be on, is that
That's
correct?
correct.
All right, Your Honor, this time I'll move to admit State's Exhibit number 1.
That clarification, that is this officer's body cam, which is a camera that's mounted on his body. Is that correct?
That's correct. It's mounted on.
Yeah, yes, Dick Poon. A body camera would be a camera that's
Publish this,
mounted on the
exhibit
body.
To the jury. I'll need the.
Dick Poon
Now,
standing
there are
up.
graphic images on this, so everybody needs to cover up their monitors, please.
By the way, in case you're wondering, the lead defense attorney, State Senator Dick Harpootlian, we're just shortening his name from Dick Harpootlian to Dick Poon.
Control what is presented and published in accordance with the court's order. The parties to police that yourselves.
We intend on covering the screen up when he gets to the graphic images and then uncovering it.
They come pretty quickly, as you.
I remember. So Mr. Griffin's ready.
All right, so there's some super graphic stuff that we're apparently not going to be able to see. They're going to quickly cover MacGyver-like with a piece of paper, apparently. See how that works out. Fortunate Son is the Creedence Clearwater Revival song.
Yeah, stay in town. I'm heading out there.
Advise a female.
Oh, we just get the audio.
The son is shot also, not breathing. Stand by for them.
Mocha dick.
717 around Moselle.
Sergeant Green, this is your body cam video, is that correct?
That's correct.
The first 15 minutes or so of this video are you running code, running at full speed or at least reasonable speed to get to this scene as fast as you can, is that correct?
Yes, sir. My lights and siren were activated so I can get there quickly.
Your Honor, at this time, I'm going to fast forward it until he arrives, I believe without objection from the defense.
Without objection, Your Honor.
Oh hell yeah, that's that ranks right up there with White Rabbit with me in the top few. This is my go-to karaoke song. Norman Greenbaum, Spirit in the Sky. When I die in the land of rest, when I go to the place rest. Yeah. Also, a good version of that is Spirit in the Sky by Fuzzbox, a 1980s punk girl band from England.
Okay, buddy.
I thought they were. Apparently, they're not going to show the footage.
Central Battalion 1 to here, waiting for.
I passed the driveway that I was supposed to have turned down. Like I said, everything's kind of dark out there. It wasn't clearly indicated, so.
Central, that was 4147 or 57?
The actual name of the band is We've Got a Fuzzbox and We're going to use it.
Keep your vehicle in the driveway with the flashes on. That's going to be the caller.
Copy, I'm going on scene. It's got a long driveway, but the mailbox out front is labeled. He's not at the end of the driveway. He might be by the house.
The correct number for 4147 Moselle?
It is.
And is that the incident location where you discovered the victims?
That's correct.
Copy.
I'm getting out. Let's call her now.
Copy.
Come over.
Don't worry. Share.
All right, everyone just joining us.
To the left of the screen.
This is the first witness called by the
To the
prosecution.
left was Paul's body. He was laying face down on the ground. Large pool of blood around him, as well as a great deal of water that was immediately around his body.
Was it that water? Was it just around? Was it down the entire kennel concrete pad, or was it mostly just?
No, you could see walking down the kennel as I got out. The closer I got to Paul's body, the more water there was.
Had it been raining
Ooh,
enough
the
at this
defendant's
point in time
breaking
to
down.
wet the entire to cause that amount of water?
Objection, Your Honor, calls for speculation.
Great song.
Objection's overruled.
Answer the question, please.
I don't recall if it had been raining
Squeeze
a whole
box.
lot that evening, but given where the water was, it did not appear that rain had caused that water.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is an objection. If I sustain the objection, you are to then disregard the question and any responses. If I overrule the objection, then you may consider the responses and the question is deemed appropriate. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. I backed it up just a little bit, apparently too far, so I'm just going to roll from here again.
Don't worry. Share.
Central 717 scene is secure. Got a Whiskey Fox, Whiskey Mike.
What are we seeing to the right of this image?
So on the right would be Maggie's body, also laying face down on the ground. Large pool of blood around her head.
And we see an individual standing. Who is that?
The individual standing in the background would be Mr. Murdaugh.
The person you previously identified in this courtroom?
That's correct.
Both defense islands to the head.
And just to be clear, this location that you're standing right now is in Colleton County, is that correct?
It is, yes.
I want to let you know because of the scene, I did go get a gun and bring it down here.
It's in your vehicle? Do you have any guns on you at all?
No, sir, it's leaning up against the side of my car.
You're fine, man. You're fine. Turn around for me.
I don't have any.
Okay. Yes, sir. I see that. Okay. This is your wife and son? Okay.
I noticed you shined your flashlight just a few seconds ago on the black vehicle. What did you shine your flashlight on just then?
You could see the shotgun leaning up against the side of that vehicle.
Were the flashers on the vehicle right there in the image?
I believe so, yes.
It's bad. Check the pulses.
This is the firearm you brought from inside the house?
Sir, yes, sir. I went and this is a long story. My son was in a boat wreck a few months back.
Wow.
He's been getting threats. Most stuff has been benign stuff we didn't take serious.
Okay.
He's been getting like punched. I know that's what it is.
Okay. When did
Was that when you previously testified that he mentioned the boat case or the boat wreck?
That's correct. Prior to me,
That's a
asking him
weird
anything
thing
about
to
it,
start
he
out.
mentioned
He called the police, LP.
did you get home? Right when you called, or did you go to the house first? Where is the house?
I came to the house first. My mom has late stages Alzheimer's and my dad is in the hospital.
Okay.
I left. I don't know what time. I can go back on my phone and tell you the exact times. Did you check?
Did I check what?
Did you check them?
We got medical guys that are that's what they're gonna do. Okay.
What are they doing? Can they hurry?
They are. Yes, sir. That gentleman that was out here already, he's one of the battalion chiefs. Okay.
Right before that discussion, did Mr. Murdaugh offer to go on his phone and check?
He did. He did. He wanted to verify exactly the timing of his arrival.
How did you pull up? You from back there?
I went to the house and they weren't home, which was odd. I tried to call.
Okay.
And then I knew they had been down here before I left to go to my mom's.
Okay.
And so that is loaded.
Okay.
You might want to unload it.
That is motive? Dude.
Is this the only firearm with you? This is the only one, or is there any more in the truck?
I believe that's it.
You think that's the only one?
I'm 99%.
Do you normally
certain that's
have
right.
any other firearms in your vehicle?
I don't, but
Okay.
occasionally there's a pistol in there.
Okay.
So you're putting something on your hands. What are you doing right there?
Those are just gloves so I could put on my hand to limit the contamination of any evidence.
You put those on before you handled the firearm. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Just wait right here for me for a second, okay?
Copy.
Yeah, he also said that is loaded.
What are you doing right now?
At this point, I'm walking back to my vehicle to secure that shotgun inside my vehicle.
We can actually see you holding it to the left of the screen. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's me holding the barrel of that shotgun.
Explain to us real quick a body worn camera. Where is that located and where are these images coming from?
I generally put it right here on my chest, dead center of my chest.
And how is it activated? How is it turned off? Can you explain that to the jury a little bit? as well?
So most of these cameras are activated in the patrol vehicles that deputies on patrol have. They're activated whenever you activate your blue lights. So as soon as I turn my blue lights on, it activates my dash camera as well as my body worn camera.
And then how do you ultimately turn it off?
It's got a button on the front of it that you can press. If it did not originally activate it, you would press that button to turn it on to start the recording. And then whenever you're done recording, you press that same button to stop the recording.
In this particular instance, how did it get activated? Was it when you turned on your blue lights to run code to the scene?
That's correct. It was activated with my blue lights.
And I've used the term run code. Do you know what that means?
Yes.
And can you explain that to the jury, please?
Sure. Running code is just whenever you turn your lights on as well as your siren to get wherever you need to get fast.
When you're moving quickly to respond to an emergency situation.
That's correct.
653 outside. Go ahead, sir. Well, I've already spoken with Captain Deal.
Right there, you laid the shotgun inside your vehicle, is that correct?
That's correct. I laid it in front of the passenger seat in the front.
Did it remain there until it was turned over to SLED?
It did.
Enjoy it, sir.
To the left of the screen, again, that's where the Paul was, is that correct?
That's correct. That's Paul laying on the ground.
And is that where you saw the water that you
It is.
described earlier?
It is.
Well, he's got crime scene contact with them. He's also going to give us the assistance of a couple of field agents. Roger that. No, they
are dead, aren't
I just turned on those.
Yes, sir. That's what it looks like.
Where are you now?
What is Mr. Murdaugh doing at this particular time?
He's on the phone, pacing around, talking to someone. I'm not sure who he was talking to at that point.
Did he ask you to confirm if they were dead?
He did. He asked multiple times while I was on scene.
Did you ever see him, any tears, any physical tears?
I did not.
Everybody reacts differently. The existence of
Approach the
tears
bodies.
I did not see him approach.
is useless.
them.
Did you observe any visible blood on him?
There was no blood on him that I could see.
The bodies, as you saw them, was there a lot of blood around them, given the injuries they had suffered?
Yes, there was a pool of blood around each of the bodies that extended out from the body.
All right. Yeah, the police are here now. The police are here now. That's my brother.
Okay. When was the last time you were here with them, or talked to them, or anything like that?
It was earlier tonight. I don't know the exact time, but
Okay.
I left. I was probably gone an hour and a half from my mom's, and I saw them about 45 minutes before that.
Okay.
I rode around with Paul for 2 hours this afternoon in the pickup truck.
That's your son, Paul? Okay.
Somebody going to check them?
Yes, sir. They've already checked them.
They did check them?
Yes, sir.
It's official that they're dead?
Yes, sir. That's what it looks like.
Some weird
These
questions.
victims, was it obvious that they had injuries incompatible with life?
Yes, any reasonable person that came upon those bodies would have come to a conclusion that they were deceased.
Injuries incompatible with life. That's a very lawyerly thing to say.
I'm very sorry.
Yeah, see, now the lack of tears here would be interesting because he's trying to cry.
What's her name?
Her name's Maggie Murdaugh. Margaret Brandstetter Murdaugh.
Okay, so he pronounces his own name Murdoch. I guess we're calling him Murdoch from now on.
How you doing?
What's her birthday?
Pause it right there. What did the defendant just say? Let me back it up.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Margaret Brandstetter Murdaugh. How you doing?
What did the defendant say right there?
So while I'm in the process of gathering information about the two victims from Mr. Murdaugh, somebody walks by behind me and he pauses what he's telling me to say, "Hey, how you doing?"
Oh, how are you doing? Okay.
And who was that he said that to?
I'm not 100% certain. I believe it was a fire rescue individual.
That's weird.
What's her birthday?
9/15/68.
Okay. And what's your son's first name? You said Paul?
Paul Terry Murdaugh.
And what's his birthday?
Jason, if you have anybody
4.
coming through town, if you can stop and pick up that tent, I see lights off in the distance.
What are they covering them up?
I got some getting dressed now, Sheriff. I'll have somebody stop and grab it.
Tell them they don't have to do that. They don't need to. Preserve what we can.
Yeah, don't cover it up. Preserve the evidence.
653. Where's it at? I'm in town.
I should try to be Del Day because he's going to be the only one that's got access.
What's Paul's
to where it is
birthday?
right now.
Copy.
April 14th, 1999, sir.
Put it up as wide as you can. That's fine. You said 99?
Hey,
Sir?
He was born in 99?
right.
Born April 14th, 1999.
Okay. What's your first name, sir?
My name is Alex Richard Alexander Murdaugh.
Let me ask you this. In your interactions with Mr. Murdaugh, was he able to understand your questions and respond appropriately to what you were asking?
Yes.
Was he catatonic in any way?
No, he was able to answer all the questions that I asked him.
Was he panicking in any way?
He seemed upset, but I wouldn't say panicky.
Did you notice any labored breathing or anything like that from Mr. Murdaugh?
Yeah, he was breathing heavily. Never once did he complain about not being able to breathe. I mean, there were fire rescue guys out there. He didn't ask for any kind of medical attention or anything like that due to not being able to breathe.
Richard Alexander Murdaugh?
This is this police officer's body cam audio.
No. Hey, Cody, come around the truck and then go to the building. Come around the truck and then. Yes.
I don't know if it's
What's that?
There's a set of footprints behind the trailer there too.
Who's that individual right there?
I'm not sure of his name. I just know that he works for Colleton County Fire Rescue. Colleton County Fire Rescue.
In the background in the center of the screen, it looks like somebody's doing something with some yellow tape. Can you explain what that is to the jury, please?
That's correct. That's Deputy Pruitt, one of the deputies that I supervised. I instructed him to put up crime scene tape to include that vehicle. We put up crime scene tape to try to keep people out of the immediate crime scene area, preserve any possible evidence that's there.
At this point in time, had you noticed any evidence of firearms such as casings or spent shells or anything like that?
Yeah, as I was walking through, you can't necessarily see it on my body camera, but as I was walking through, I could see shell casings, particularly around Maggie's body.
All right. And a shell casing, would they be for like a rifle round or a pistol round?
They appear to be rifle rounds.
And could you tell just from walking by what type of ammunition at that point in time?
I couldn't tell what type. I could tell that they appear to be rifle. That's about it.
And again, you weren't stopping to collect those. You were managing the scene as you described before.
That's correct.
Just go over to that corner of the building.
I'm almost to you. Let me see what we have first and whether or not we're going to handle that part or not.
What are you shining your light on right there?
So there in the background behind where Mr. Murdaugh is standing, you can see several sets of tire tracks. The grass was really wet that night, so those tracks appeared to be really fresh. So it caught my eye.
All right. And why did it catch your eye?
It just seemed odd that it appeared to be that many sets of tire tracks since he said he pulled up, went to the house and came back. It just appeared that there were more than just that.
It appeared that there were more tracks than just that.
That's correct.
I see quite a few tire tracks in here. Were any of these you going in and out?
No, I came in here and I left one time and I came back.
Okay.
The rest of them, maybe
Yeah, this is the first cop on the scene.
earlier, but
Okay.
only two were mine.
Did you go out this way at all?
No.
Well, that's right.
Hey, stay there. Got a whole bunch of stuff right there. I don't want to disturb.
Yeah, if I can't get the door, we can kind of get around that way.
Your best way is probably going to be back through those rocks because we can't get any tracks off those rocks anymore.
No, we'll go back around the other way we just came.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep, you have names and everything for 'em? Yes. Okay, I'll get that in a little bit. Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
This lady back here, is this what Grandma Gelflings look like?
are you approaching right now?
That was the vehicle that Mr. Murdaugh said that he had approached that scene in.
Was that a black Suburban to your recollection?
It is.
If only it was Lassie, they could understand what the dog was saying. He did it? Really?
Oh, yeah, there's 23 almost.
You mean he's innocent?
I was 7 unit on scene. Are you behind the house?
There's several of us out here. There's
Right there, that would be Maggie's body right in front of that shed. Is that correct?
That's correct. It's covered up by a
Nice.
sheet at this point.
a long dirt driveway right next to the mailbox says 4147, and you'll see all our lights down here at this shed thing.
That's his
You ain't come through Brick Collins.
sister, maybe? I don't know.
There you go.
No, say, I'm on duty, going out to Moselle.
Who's that standing way off in the distance there?
That would
Yes.
be Mr. Murdaugh.
Where did he spend the majority of his time while you were there after your initial interaction with him?
From this point on, his general time was spent in that area where he's currently standing.
Pretty far away from the scene?
That's correct.
If it was the FBI, they would have shot all those dogs by now.
Delta 653. Telephone Saudi.
What was occurring right there? With the
So what
other
was
deputy?
occurring right there?
Yeah.
So both of those deputies, or Deputy Pruitt would be on the left and Deputy McDowell would be on the right. Deputy McDowell was taking small pieces of crime scene tape and just setting them by shell casings, I believe. As road patrol officers, we don't generally have those little placards that you'll a lot of times see in crime scene photos. But to prevent somebody from accidentally stepping on them due to it being so dark out there, we tend to take something small like a piece of paper, a piece of crime scene tape, set it next to it just to indicate it a little bit better.
Again, part of the job of a first responder to sort of protect the scene until the crime scene investigators get there.
That's correct.
Both these individuals, were you supervising them that night?
I was, yes.
You know, I was just thinking that exact same thing. Is that Buster? I thought that was a woman. I'm so confused.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Looking at
That's
this
Buster.
perspective right here, to the left of the screen is whose body?
To the left right there in the forefront would be Maggie, and in the further back you can also see where Paul is laying.
Wait, now.
Was Paul next to or
Okay.
in the kennel area?
Yes.
That back there. That's Buster, I believe.
I think his brother
I believe that's
said
Buster.
he was calling somebody.
I'm
Said he was
confused
calling
about
somebody.
this person. I believe, I don't know. Sometimes it looks like a woman, sometimes it looks like, I don't know. I thought that might have been Buster, but I'm confused. Buster is his surviving son, the one that he allegedly didn't delete.
Y'all familiar with this family? Yes.
I wasn't until he told the names. Last
Fill you
name.
in later.
Good point, LP. I'm not a
You know
biologist.
this family prior to this?
I did not.
I don't think it's gonna be.
What's that?
Did I tell you?
You said for Evo to do?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Hey.
Who was Evo?
Evo would be Deputy McDowell's
Hot
K9.
mic.
Hey, watch your step.
Now, Buster Hyman would be one of the jurors, I believe.
Okay.
Who is that approaching right now?
That would be my immediate supervisor at the time, Lieutenant Lonnie Nettles.
Dude.
The gentleman in the white shirt is the husband of her, father of him. That is Paul Murdaugh. This is his mother. Paul Murdaugh was that guy in the boating accident.
I just want to know who this is with the red hair and how they identify.
Just then, were you describing the boat wreck?
Yes, it had been in local news previously, so.
And it was your understanding that Paul was involved in that?
In some way, I had no idea about the actual details of the case to know what his involvement was, honestly.
Most likely. He did have a firearm whenever I pulled up. It's a shotgun. It's been secured in my vehicle.
Mrs. Griff, it's a joke. We're joking. He's Mr. Heat Miser. He's Mr. Sun.
When you get a chance, can you give dispatch a phone call?
You'll have to give me just a few minutes, but yes, I will.
That dispatch call, was that related to the case in any way?
I don't believe it was. I don't remember what that phone call ended up being about. As a supervisor, if a lot of us are tied up at one time, they will tend to give me a phone call to let me know that a certain call is pending or something else is going on. Just to help keep the radio traffic free, they'll call me on my cell phone instead.
Did your entire squad respond to this this particular call, or did somebody?
There was one deputy that remained in service.
Okay. Did not respond here, but remained on the road.
Correct.
She's got a tinge of the ginge and the minge.
Who can start a log? Who's the most expendable that can start a log? Let's put it that way.
This is. Can you start a crime scene log, please?
The most expendable?
Log started. Sleds on the way. Let's push.
Phrasing.
Can we run the tape?
2007 Brady
There to there.
Yeah.
Yes.
From that last pole right there
Start a log.
to that last
Get a
pole.
piece of paper. Start writing names and times. You don't have any kind of paper?
Who's that individual right there in the center of the screen?
To the right. Detective to the right?
Yes.
That would be Deputy Pruitt.
And what did you just ask him to do?
Start a crime scene log.
And tell the jury what that is.
Sure. So a crime scene log is established as soon as additional people start to arrive on scene. We document exactly who comes into the actual crime scene, as well as the exact time that they come into the crime scene.
Here, borrow that.
We can push it from that pole to that pole.
Yep. Sure.
Aaron Gordon Lightfoot's Cape Horn for the win. That's a great little song. Yeah. Everything by Gordon Lightfoot's good.
I do see some.
Paul Farrell, do you have a good website to order pipe tobacco and pipe accessories from? I use 4 Noggins mostly because they know how to ship internationally.
Oh, yeah.
Like the number 4 noggins.com.
What are we doing right here with the tape?
So I'm securing it to the corner of that part of the shed to run it along to a shed on the opposite side of that area. We just expanded the crime scene out a little bit further.
To protect a larger area?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
You need to speak more directly into the mic. Or
Jesus, he's eating the
can you
mic, Judge.
increase the volume, Madam Clerk, of that mic.
Oh, please don't increase the volume of his mic. I'm going
Just a
deaf
little.
over here.
This one that's working?
I'm referring to the witness.
Oh, sorry.
Increase his volume or
Please don't. Oh, God.
thank you.
Yes, sir. I usually don't have a problem being too quiet, but speak up for us if you would, please. All right, so you're securing the crime scene tape. Let's proceed.
The red lady looks like Chava from Fiddler on the Roof. Matchmaker, matchmaker, make me a match. Find me a find, catch me a catch. Matchmaker, matchmaker, find me a find.
Just keep our fingers crossed. Yeah, I think we got it.
This is 5-3, all the responding units from Moselle Road, stop at the road. No one else come down the dirt road. Stop at the road.
In light of the fact we got a bunch of Jew raws in the courthouse, I think we need to start identifying everybody as characters from Fiddler on the Roof.
That's 077, probably doing that 66 on 95.
This is Officer Martel Comzoil, the tailor. Chava back here. It's a love story.
I'm back that way, I guess. Where the house is, I guess.
You referring to the Whiskey Mike, last you walk with a key? Term is.
We've heard on this video the term Whiskey Mike. Can you tell me what that term refers to?
Yeah, when we say whiskey Mike, we're referring to a white male. A whiskey fox or a whiskey foxtrot would be a white female.
And in the context of this particular scene, who's the Whiskey Mike and who's the Whiskey Fox or Whiskey Foxtrot?
As I was approaching, you could
He
hear
does
me
have
say to
red hair.
dispatch to my radio that there was a whiskey Mike, the whiskey Mike referring to Paul, whiskey fox referring to Maggie.
Yeah.
Do we have anything else?
It's Conan O'Brien with a guest appearance in the stands there.
Got it.
I guess this would be the butcher Laser Wolf back here. This is the little elf from the Christmas tree. Frost. It was what the hell was the one where they went to the Island of the Lost Toys?
To the very right of the screen.
He wanted to be a dentist, not an elf.
Well, strike that. I'll wait.
Correct.
Sunrise, sunset. G. Gordon Liddy, he died a few years ago.
It's just I'm using the back side of all the paper. All the front side of the paper has names and information on it.
Well, you can borrow mine for a minute. It's perfectly fine, Cody.
I just didn't want you to be like, we're doing fucking paper. I have paper for calls.
Do you not have any crime scene log sheet? Hey, it's 717. I was asked to give you guys a call.
Have it in your list.
Hi.
Jacob's Proud Madre, special shout out to you at this particular time of year.
Okay.
You know, cheers to you. Hope you're doing well.
I will inquire and I'll get back to you. Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm gonna grab.
Here, do you recognize those individuals?
I do.
Can you tell us who they are?
On the far left would be Detective Tyndall. In the forefront toward the center would be Captain Chapman. And on the other side of him, in the lighter colored shirt with the black vest, was Barry McCroy, worked for Fire Rescue.
Okay. What did the sheriff respond to this particular incident, to your recollection?
Yes, he did.
Targaryen?
But as far as who was the senior officer actually working the scene at this point in time until Sled arrives, who was it at this point?
That would be Captain Chapman.
Captain Chapman?
That's correct.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna grab a couple. I got some right here. Hey, you want us to close that in? Sure. Was that? You want us to close it in? Yeah.
There's a guy, I don't know if you want to let the other guy know, whoever Eric is, or just the caller. There's a guy over here that's wanting to talk to him. That's all he was.
Don't even know who Eric is. I know an Alex over there.
What?
Alex.
Okay. There's a guy over here that wants to talk to him.
Yeah, but I don't know if you want me to tell him that or.
Well, he was both the first officer on screen and the first officer on
He does not need
scene.
to walk over
So
there.
I'm right either way.
He does not need to go over there.
But thanks. Let me change that.
Let me ask you this. Before you had referred to a brother arriving, is that correct?
Yes.
And was that a brother? Was he allowed to talk to Alec and go over to Alec?
I believe he did. I don't recall. I never actually interacted with him at all.
And then this discussion right here with Deputy Pruitt, what was going on right there?
So there was someone that arrived on scene and wanted to go and speak with Mr. Murdaugh. I told him to just wait a minute on allowing him over there so we could determine the best way to allow them to talk, simply because the crime scene was so large and we did not want to contaminate anything that didn't need to be.
Okay. To your knowledge, was that individual, whoever it was, allowed to interact with Mr. Murdaugh?
I believe so. He was eventually, yes.
People that arrived were allowed to go see Mr. Murdaugh, is that correct?
That's correct.
He was not in custody at any time, is that correct?
No.
I don't have the caller and the caller's brother's name in here, because I don't know the names yet, but I can get it.
I remember the name.
All right. I don't know where you were at. I just found the first empty page I can find.
Female victim, male caller.
And then the other guy, he hasn't came and tried to take
Yeah,
it.
don't have to worry about him. Just make sure you get the here.
So we need you all left out here.
Oh my God.
Is that what you're about to say?
Yes.
What are you doing on the computer right here? Do you recall?
Yeah, so on those computers that are mounted in our patrol vehicles, we can see details of the call for service or other calls for service. In this case, I was looking at the information for the incident on Moselle to determine what units had been dispatched, what units arrived, and when they arrived, due to Deputy Pruitt trying to establish the crime scene log.
You use the term call for service, which is a police term, but that essentially means responding to any emergency.
He wants to be serviced by the police.
Any type of call, any citizen that would call our dispatch center to request law enforcement assistance or fire rescue assistance, it's called, we just refer to it as a call for service.
I came on scene at 22:26.
22:26?
Yes.
Yep.
You say you came on scene at 22:26?
That's correct.
For those of us who don't know military time, can you tell us what that is?
That would be 10:26 p.m.
And that's June 7th, 2021?
That's correct.
And whoever U21 is with fire rescue, just write U21, fire rescue U21.
Yep.
And then
That was the same time as you?
he came on scene. Yeah, same time as me. It's fine. Medic 18 at 22:27.
And it started to rain more at this point?
Yeah, it had started raining at this point, yes.
$758 on scene 22:30. Same time as you. $653 on scene at 22:39.
22:39.
Yep.
We have a Jessica
Those
Reloaded
numbers
sighting.
that you're referring to, what do those represent?
So the numbers would be the badge numbers of individuals arriving on scene.
You're just recording when various people arrived in the computer.
They're recorded in the computer. So when we arrive on scene, we let dispatch know our number and that we're on scene. They log it into the computer, and then we can then put it on our crime scene log.
That's all I have as far as times on this goes.
And Jacob's Proud Madre says, that's exactly why I love you, Jeff, because I wished her a very, very, very peaceful and happier time at this time of year for reasons.
787 Central.
Why is Mindset in all these thumbnails? Because we're a tag team, and he'll be here as soon as he wakes up and gets ready. I'm doing the morning session, he's doing the afternoon session, so he'll be here for a bit. We'll switch over, and then I'll be on him for a bit, and then he'll take it while I go to sleep. We're kind of doing a Korean tag team thing here.
223 Majestic Oak, wait, Hodgeville. 10-4. There's a Cottage unit that connected. That'd be great.
Pretty sure Majestic Oaks is their jurisdiction anyway.
Central Plaza follow up. I believe that's not their station anyway. I'll take care of that.
Gotcha.
Twenty-three Majestic Oak.
All right, well, we're in a...
That individual walking off to the left of the screen, who is that?
The one walking away from the screen or that just approached?
Walking away.
That was Deputy McDowell.
All right, and then the center of the screen, who is that?
The one that just walked up and is in center screen now would be Captain Krause.
All right, and then next to him, facing the body camera?
That would be Captain Chapman.
All right, and then to the far right?
Detective Tyndall.
Anything for you, Crystal. All right, well, so there's some non-important part of the video going on here. We'll hit the midstream 1 hour grift.
Those kennels to your recollection?
There were a couple of dogs. I don't remember the exact number, but I do remember seeing some.
All right, we currently have 459 viewers, 474 likes. We're going to end the poll now and bring up another poll here, a new poll, a guilt or innocence poll. How hard did you hit the like and subscribe button? 18% of you said as hard as bullets hitting your family. Another 18% of you said as hard as Chinese algebra. 25% of you said gently, I don't believe in violence. And 38% of you said you hit that like and subscribe button like hard as a good Russian slap fight. So that's the end of that. We're going to put up a new like and subscribe poll based on guilt or innocence. So right now, hit that like button, please, if you haven't already done so. And if you would be so kind to subscribe to the channel, I would be grateful. We're 30 away from hitting 33,300. Let's see if we can get up to 33,300 by the end of the stream. If you haven't hit the like and subscribe, please do it now. Deeply appreciate it. I will put up a brand new poll as we speak.
We're going to discuss it later and find out.
Okay, just I'll make sure I didn't miss something.
Nope. That discussion right there, did that have anything to do with the crime scene or anything like that?
No, it was not related at all.
What'd you just put on your hands then?
Those would be latex gloves.
And the gloves you put on that you described earlier to the jury, what were those gloves?
Those are more tactical gloves. They're not necessarily ideal for handling any kind of evidence, but due to me already being out there next to the shotgun, I did not have any latex gloves on my person, so I used what was available.
And why are you putting on latex gloves right now?
They were wanting to look under the sheet where Paul was, so just to prevent any kind of contamination of any possible evidence at all, we would just always put gloves on.
All right, new poll. I hit the like and subscribe button because I think he's guilty.
Fire Rescue might have some more sheets we can steal.
I hit the like and subscribe button because I think he's not guilty. And I hit the like and subscribe button because I don't know. I need more evidence. Guilty, not guilty, evidence regardless. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let's see what happens. End of midstream grift. We'll do this again in about another 40 minutes, see where we are. So in the meantime there, subscribe, like, and super chat if you're so inclined.
Unless it's the shortest 300 blackouts ever been raised.
What is that discussion about right there?
So the whole purpose for even trying to look up under him was to determine if there was an additional firearm on scene already, possibly under Paul. There was 300 blackout casings found near Maggie. They were trying to determine if there was possibly a 300 blackout rifle under Paul.
And were y'all concerned that there may be one under Paul?
We just trying to rule it out as a possibility.
And what was that possibility then?
That he could have shot Maggie.
And then did what?
Shot himself.
So you're looking to see if there's a gun underneath if he had shot himself and then fallen on top of it.
That's correct.
I haven't asked the dad about the phone, but dad did say he came over and checked the pulse.
Because he didn't do it.
Did you see a phone near Paul when you arrived on the scene?
Yes, there was a phone laying on top of him near his back pockets of his shorts.
Back it up just a little bit. Is that it right down there at the bottom?
That's it.
Unless it's the shortest 300 blackouts ever been raised.
I don't think he put that phone back. I haven't asked the dad about the phone, but dad did say he came over and checked the pulses. Beyond that, I don't know what else they may have done.
Good is a new member. Thank you, Good, for being a new member of the Clean and Sober crew. Deeply appreciated. Thank you for being our newest member of the Legal Vices members. Everybody should like my member. Everyone wants to be my member. God is my newest member. Thank you. Thank you for paying money to be my member.
Yep.
Cult of Legal Vices member. I like that.
Out of that window.
Worship my member.
We see a shell, at least 3 shells.
Sorry. I need a drink.
Right to the left of the screen, there appears to be, what does that appear to be to the very left of the screen?
There's some dog crates over there. On top of one of the dog crates is actually a dead chicken.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
A dead chicken
Can you say that again?
on the far left-hand side of the screen.
Take that down to Colonel Sanders. He'll just fry that dead chicken up.
With permission, could you step down to the screen and point what we're talking about to the jury?
All right, while he's stepping down to point to the dead chicken, I just want to say thank you to Chaos Coordinator who gifted 10 Legal Vices memberships.
Right here on top of that small dog crate was what appeared to be a dead chicken.
Why are they pointing at a dead chicken?
This area right here.
Someone choked the chicken.
Right. Thank you.
Wow. All right, if you were one of the 10 lucky people that got a gifted membership from Chaos Coordinator, please say thank you to Chaos Coordinator.
Yes.
That'd be King Bob, David Watkins, Dick Susser, Ashley Shows Up, Andrew F.,
You don't need to keep
Shawnette Zakaria, Renato Liu. Looks like we're missing somebody. Few people, 3 people. Holly. Va Young. And Becca has thoughts. That's THOUGHTS chat. Don't panic. Becca does not have thoughts. She has thoughts. Thank you very, very much for doing that, Chaos Coordinator. You all get a month free membership. If it's something you want to continue, you'll have to manually continue it.
That's correct. That's when I was really noticing the chicken.
The chicken was not crossing the road, lovely flight. It was dead. See, Crystal, that's why you rock. The chicken was a witness. He had to be taken care of. I shot the chicken, but I did not shoot the chickadee. Sorry. My Bob Marley impression.
Just so you know, I've got at least 5 holes in the window in the back of that shed where rounds are exiting out the back that way.
Which is going to be what got because of the what? He was carrying a shotgun on the guy.
It is currently in my vehicle.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's stand for a moment.
All right. Well, they're standing. We can take our own little break here. All right. Yeah, a lot of you are talking about the fact he didn't. The officer said they didn't see him crying. I think the thing is, like, everybody processes grief differently. When my older brother died, I literally didn't cry I didn't cry over his death for literally 5 or 6 years, and then one day just kind of hit me. And when my mother died, I'm not like a crier. I'm more like the logical thing. Like, okay, my crying isn't going to bring them back. It sucks, but I kind of process things differently. But I think the problem is like the Amber Heard thing. She was trying to cry and couldn't squeeze out a tear. He was making crying noises and apparently wasn't crying. So I think that's where people are kind of calling him out.
That's the extent of that state will publish at this time, Your Honor.
Let me ask you a few other questions if I could. Sergeant Green.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as exhibit number 5 to your testimony and see if you recognize this image.
Yes, sir. That would be an image from my body camera when I was looking at the tire tracks in the grass.
Indigo Luna, love the chat, Jeff. Y'all keep me woke. Well, I don't want to keep anybody woke. I'll keep you awake. I don't want anybody to be woke. That sucks. We want you to be based.
This time I'll move to admit State's exhibit 5, I believe, without objection.
Any objection to State's exhibit number 5? Submitted without objection. Yes. Publish any exhibit that has been admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor.
The pecking order of attorneys.
Right,
He's the lead prosecutor. He's the attorney general.
In the image right there.
That would be Mr. Murdaugh.
All right, and then just kind of in this area, it's more clear on the video, but that would be the tire tracks you described earlier.
Yes, where I'm shining my flashlight at that point is where the tire tracks were.
Yeah, this is the attorney general
We
here.
cut the video off after playing sort of the relevant parts, but what did you do for the remainder of the scene as the evening continued?
So the remaining part of my role would have just been making sure the crime scene stayed secure, people stayed out of where they weren't supposed to be. Investigators were handling the remainder of the investigation.
Did eventually anyone from the SLED, the State Law Enforcement Division, show up?
They did. I don't believe that would have been captured on my body camera.
That's because gingers have no soul.
At some point, did you like to turn your body camera off?
I did. I cleared it with my supervisor, Captain Kraus, to ensure that I would not be needed for any additional investigative purposes, talking to Mr. Murdaugh or handling any additional evidence. And once that was okayed, I turned it off.
And so that was consistent with standard police procedures and practices and when you turn the body camera off?
That's correct.
You just didn't decide to do it willy-nilly or anything?
That's correct.
At what point, just roughly, do you remember, did you clear the scene or leave the scene?
I don't think I left the scene until several hours later.
Were you still there when SLED crime scene arrived?
Yes.
Did you remain the entire time they were there, or did you leave at some point?
I would have left prior to the end of my shift. I couldn't tell you the exact time that it was, but they were multiple units, including SLED and Carleton County investigators, still on scene when I left.
That's all the questions I have for this witness, Your Honor.
All right. That is the end of the direct.
Set up some of the audio visual stuff.
And this is the lead defense lawyer.
Please go to the jury room. Please do not discuss the case.
All right, this is the lead defense lawyer, Dick Harpootlian, who we just shortened that to Dick Poon. That's a lead attorney, Dick Poon, for the defense. All right, now they're going to use some audio and visual for cross-examination of Officer Green. Oh, wait, I spelled his name wrong, too. He spells it with an E, Green. Anyway, pretend I spelled his name correctly. Yeah. Okay. What do y'all think? Not a strong start for the prosecution, I think. What I would like to see is get some sensational stuff up front and then sort of backtrack it and then go back and fill in the details. But you want to get something to catch the jurors, the jurors immediately. And I don't think they did that. What are the main points that he brought up? What are the main points that Sergeant Daniel Green brought up? One, there's a dead chicken. Not sure what that has to do with anything, but there's a dead chicken. Direct evidence, there's not a lot. They made a little bit about him. The first things out of his mouth are, my son was in a boating accident and people have been threatening him. We didn't take the threat seriously and everything. They may have shot him. So that was kind of weird that one of the first things out of his mouth is setting up an explanation or an alibi as to why he didn't do it and someone else likely did it. That was kind of weird right out of the gate. Jacob's proud Madre legal advice just wanted to let you know that I don't mind my story being told by others. You definitely don't have to, but I'm not bothered by it. No, the reason I was wishing Jacob's proud Madre well is because the anniversary of her son's passing, I believe it was January 24th of 2 years ago. Last year, 2 years ago. Yeah, so it's right around this time. Dealing with the loss of a child would just suck beyond belief. But yeah, so that's why I was wishing her well and giving her a cheers. Haven't seen her around here for a bit. Yeah, so we had the chicken. We had the weird statements about my son was, the dead son was involved in a boating accident and people threatening him and hitting him and stuff. And it was January 3rd, 2021. Okay, I thought, for some reason I thought it was like the 24th. I don't know why, but it did. On his birthday. Crap, that sucks. But yeah, that whole thing about the first thing he mentions is people that may have done it because of a boating accident a few years prior to that was kind of weird. Not usually the first thing you'd be saying to the police when they arrive on scene and your family's dead. Yeah, there was too many tire tracks. He said that he pulled up and then he went to the house and came back. But it sounds like there was a lot more tire tracks than that, which would sort of indicate that he had been there, gone somewhere else, came back, went to the house, came. It sounds like there was more of his tire tracks than there should have been. Arch Lux asked who discovered the scene, cops or someone else. He discovered it. The defendant allegedly, they were happy and they had a great day. and he went to visit, like he left at 9:00 to go visit his mother who has severe Alzheimer's. He came back an hour later and found his family dead by the dog kennels. That's his story. Randomly, just so happened, murderers came to his house during the 1 hour period. He was briefly absent on a Monday, late on a Monday night. Yeah. So they kind of called into question the tire tracks, the weird comments about people wanting to get his son for the boating accident. They tried to make a big deal out of not seeing any tears. I don't think that's a particularly persuasive argument. And in fact, it might go the other. I mean, they might even go the other way, because there might be other people on the jury like myself and some of you in the chat that go, well, you know, crying. I don't always cry when really horrible things happen. I could be in shock. You know, so it's I thought that was really weak, and I think it may backfire a bit. I mean, other than that, this first witness didn't really introduce a lot. Oh, and the weird statement where they, oh, my family, everybody's dead. Oh, hey, how you doing, fireman? Oh, God, my family. That was kind of weird. I'll admit that was kind of weird when he's just like grieving for the fact that and the way they described the scene yesterday with like his son's brain had like splattered on the ceiling, and there was chunks of brain in his lap, and his wife's head had been blasted open, and her chest and whatnot. And then like he's sitting in the middle of this scene, and he's like, oh, hey, fireman, how you doing? That was kind of weird. But again, it doesn't prove that he did anything. It just kind of proves he's a weird semi-sociopath guy. So I don't know. It's kind of weird. Thomas Deserano says, explanation for weird boating accident statement. His brain is searching for why this happened, and it's stuck on that boating accident. That doesn't explain why his wife has got me. It's just weird. It's a weird statement. But again, weird statements don't prove that he did something. It is at very, very best, it's almost not even circumstantial evidence. At very best, it's weak circumstantial evidence. So I don't know. Well, Shawnette Zakaria, I do not understand what people who delete their family, if he did it, allegedly he did it, but if he did it, yeah, All right, well, while we're taking this little bit of a break here, we have one layman guest. I like having laymen on our panels because as people were saying, Flux, she's too busy working. She doesn't have time for us. We usually have Flux on, but because people said, we like Flux on the channel because she asks questions that normal people ask. So we like her. So I like to have layman on the panel. And today's layman panel is Valhalla Awaits. How you doing, brother?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Pretty darn good. While you're here, yourself real quick.
I'm Valhalla Awaits. I seem to be everywhere lately. I think I'm on.
And your channel name is
Valhalla Awaits. If you can't find it, search for Valhalla Awaits Goats, and it'll pop right up.
And that's literally what I have to search for, even though I'm subscribed to him. Of course, you have to search for Valhalla Awaits Goats, because if you just search for Valhalla Awaits, you get about 40 channels, including a death metal band.
And none of them have goats in them. Not a single one.
None of them have goats in them.
Not a one.
And what do you do? Why if we search for goats, do we find your channel?
I have goats, and I record them, and I post them to the internet.
And they sound just like that.
That is not a goat, my friend.
No, do not question how my pet identifies itself.
That is not a goat, my friend. That is a sheep.
Do not question how it identifies itself. It identifies as a goat. So that's it. We do not mislabel, do not misidentify my peeps. Flux says, thank you for the super chat. Val is my girl.
That's my home girl.
We love our Flux.
Love me some Flux. She keeps avoiding me. I've been trying to stream with her. She keeps avoiding me.
She avoids everybody. Jacob's Proud Madre says, now there's my Mr. Cool. Oh, what? So I'm not your Mr. Cool?
We got something special, Jeff. Me and
Alrighty
Jacob
then.
Proud Madre. We got something
All right.
special.
Alrighty then. Legal advice is ban him now. I will.
I'm gonna try to not even like cuss and stuff. I'm gonna try to be really good today.
Oh, don't do that. That's what this channel is all about. We're 1 hour and 40 minutes into this. We can get a little bit sweary. Not too much until we hit the 2 hour mark, but
we're almost at 2 hours.
And at some point in the next what time is it? At some point in the next 45 minutes, Legal Mindset Andrew will be waking up and getting himself ready and joining us. Absolutely. And 45 minutes from now, we will switch on over to his channel for the remainder of the afternoon because Lorax needs some sleep.
Yeah, it's like 1:15 in the morning for you.
Yes, it is 1:13 a.m. currently. And I've had 2 hours sleep in the last 48 hours.
I've developed this skill lately where I know the time zones in Korea and Australia. So it's very strange.
Well, Korea is just Eastern time plus you flip AM to PM and add 2.
Australia's add 4.
Yeah, for the capital anyway. They've got like 5 time zones, 6 time zones, and some of them are like 30-minute time zones like Arizona used to do.
It's all imaginary. It's somewhere in Ohio.
Yeah. Oh, Crystal Pontac, you're Valhalla, you're so pretty.
Did you hear?
All right, shut up. I'm feeling threatened. Never mind. Valhalla is no longer welcome on the channel. Simp for me only. All right, welcome back. I will not have competition on my channel.
I love it. I told Jessica Reloaded one night on her stream. I said, "You're so pretty," and it became a thing.
Yeah, well,
it's outstanding.
Well, yeah, see, and she doesn't even answer her text when I send her text.
Oh, really? She gets back to me immediately.
Yeah, I know. She doesn't like me. She's my mod, but she hates me. Anywho. All right. Well, shit.
So what did I miss this morning? What have I missed?
Oh, you haven't been watching it this morning?
Nah, I was sleeping.
See, all you simping for him and he's asleep.
I went to bed early though.
So he went to bed early and he stayed asleep until very late. That's the kind of man you want. He runs a farm. He's got hungry goats and he's just ignoring him. Jacob's Proud Madre, you're my handsome, classy, and always my main squeeze, Jeff. Always. Too little, too late. Sorry. But I'll take the 20, but no, thanks. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate that. Vic Saucer, Jeff has the stash, Val has the beard.
Pretty good combo, really. I can't get a mustache like that. I can't let it grow out that
This
long.
is like 2.5 years in the making.
It's nice. It's quality.
It grows really slow. It grows a lot slower than my beard. Oh, now Jessica deigns to answer my tweet, answer my message because I shamed her. Yeah, because I was going to invite her on. She didn't even check her messages. So I'm like, I was going. All right, you're the only one that responded to me. You're my hero.
I love you, Jeff. That's why.
She's driving to work right now. So.
Bum.
Yeah,
she's making it up. She doesn't even work.
And Michelle, I don't even know what that means. South Africa technically has 2 time zones, but because it's such a small country, we only have 1. Okay, you have 2, but you only have 1. It's like Highlander. There can be only 1.
The people were like, nah, we ain't doing that.
All right, we can embiggen ourselves. Tired of looking at the chandelier. All right, so what we've missed so far was the first police officer has taken the stand for his direct examination by the prosecution. Not really very strong, I think.
No.
Oshana Zachariah, however you want to pronounce that, it's your name. You pronounce it how you want, just like my goat identifies as a goat because it is a goat. Where is Megan? Megan is on vacation this week. Otherwise, she would be here. And I assumed that Steve Gosney had to work, but as I see, he's over on Ricada's channel. If I would have known he was free and available, I would have invited him. I just assumed he was working, but he is in his office. So, yeah, all righty. But hey, we got the one man we wanted.
I don't know if you know this, but me and Steve Gosney are bros.
Yes, we Valhalla and Steve. For all of you that like Steve Gosney, they hang out. They talk about music. They do Legos and things like that.
We do build Lego on Friday usually.
It's kind of a cool thing here.
It's neat. It's neat.
Yeah. So as we were just talking about what they've done, this first guy, he was the first officer on the scene. He says that when he got there, and they're playing the audio of his body camera, and the first thing that Murdaugh was saying, since the A-Team, Murdaugh, sorry, ADHD just kind of got me there a second. Murdaugh, one of the first things he said was, my son was in a boating accident several years ago, and people have been threatening him, and they've been hitting him, and we didn't take the threat seriously. And implying, like, the first thing out of his mouth was, it's probably someone that shot my son because of a boating accident a few years ago.
It's a weird thing to say.
Yeah, that was like the first thing he said when his son's brains are everywhere. The prosecution described it was the defense actually. It was describing the brains as being on the ceiling of the kennels and the mass of his brain in his lap and his wife's head blown open, their chest.
Yeah, it seemed a little extreme to me too. Yesterday when he was going through all that seemed a little much.
And so in the middle of that scene and this ever spreading pool of blood, he's like, this happened a few years ago, and I think we should have taken him seriously. And then in the middle of this, he was sobbing and making heavy breathing noises, but reportedly no tears, which I don't think is really particularly indicative of anything, but kind of weird if he's trying to cry like Amber Heard and not being able to do it, or if he was like dry sobbing. I don't know. I wasn't there. But in the middle of this, a fireman apparently walked behind him. He's like, "Oh, my family, they're dead. They're dead. Oh, hey, how you doing? Oh God, I can't do it." Yeah, so he like literally stopped his crying and wailing and said, "Oh, hey there," to one of the firemen walking by, which they emphasized as sort of being weird.
That seems kind of weird.
And he said that he drove up to the kennel, saw the family, drove back to the house to get a gun because he thought someone else might be there, and then drove back to his family, which they were saying was kind of weird. But then they said there were too many tire tracks. So they said there was more tire tracks than there should have been. And they weirdly made a big deal about there being a dead chicken next to the kennels. And that's really all you missed.
Okay.
And
the prosecutor yesterday, he made it sound pretty obvious in his opening statement.
Well, see, that was kind of interesting. I mean, I thought the prosecution did a very, very, very good job.
I agree.
I agree of things, and the defense lawyer was kind of weirdly graphic.
Yeah.
But I was watching Recada's stream today to see what they thought about it, and they thought overwhelmingly the prosecutor sucked, and the defense opening was fantastic.
Please proceed.
Okay.
All right, looks like we are back in court. Where are we here? And while we do that, X-Comer, is that guitar on display? Steve? No, it's just because I play it when I get home from work to chill a little bit, and that's like 3 days in a row I haven't put it away. And Nicholas Starov, union rep, labor law, hey, who also has an amazing new channel that is really cool. You should go check out Nicholas Starov. Was Murdaugh trying to establish outside interference? Bad move, but he's an experienced lawyer. Those are weird folks. All of those. Yes, I think he was trying to say, okay, look at right from the beginning. Don't look at me. Look at somebody else. Look at somebody else. It wasn't me. I promise. He is an experienced lawyer. His family have been prosecutors in the town for 102 years. They've essentially owned the town. And those are weird folk. Yeah, they are weird folk. Definitely, all of us. Yeah, his father, grandfather, and great grandfather were all prosecutors in the town. They had to take a picture of his grandfather down from the courtroom so it wouldn't prejudice the jury. So it's basically like you see in all the really cheesy movies, like Steven Seagal movies, where someone messes with his family and kidnaps his daughter. They always go to the creepy southern town where one family has ruled it for generations, and they're always the bad guys. This is kind of what seems to be happening here, or at least that's the way the prosecution is making it look.
And so they've all been prosecutors?
Yeah. They've basically been the prosecutors for 102 years.
You may proceed.
Please, Your Honor.
All right, this is cross-examination, and I'm going to correct the spelling of his name here real quick.
For my own edification, I'm curious. I called over several weeks left you voicemails for you to call me back and talk. Have I not?
I haven't received any voicemails.
You don't check your voicemail?
Did you call my cell phone?
No, I called your office.
Irrelevant. Why are you letting him ask
It's
this?
possible they sent you to the wrong one. I don't know.
But you've spent an extensive amount of time talking to Mr. Waters about your testimony, have you not?
I've spoken with him a few times, yes.
How many times?
3 or 4, maybe at least.
And has he reviewed with you the points he was trying to make?
We've discussed the body camera footage extensively.
Right. Let me go to a specific piece of video. I apologize for not the AV situation requiring me to have my AV guy.
Okay, he needs to learn to use the microphone like the prosecutor.
He's around before, Mike.
So, as he's preparing this, you indicated you were asked by Mr. Waters, said there was water on the ground, right? It had been raining and you saw water, right?
That's correct.
And as I understand it, and we're going to look at the video in just a minute, that water was primarily, at least what we see in your video, on the concrete area around the dog pens, correct?
That's what it appeared, yes.
Okay. And let's go to that first.
Jesus.
That was fun.
That was a little bit loud.
That was awesome.
Was the water wet?
Sorry, the technology is.
Beyond you.
Glad to help.
Yeah. Okay. The defense is jealous. You answered him, but not me. That's exactly the implication. We're trying to work with
Go ahead a little further.
Jesus.
Why? Make it stop.
Yeah, they're trying to say that you worked with the prosecutor to concoct this story, but you didn't work with us.
Okay. Yeah, now start right there. I think I just stopped for just a second.
He doesn't have to.
Okay, stop. Now, you're walking down in front of the dog pens. Is this the water you're referring to?
Yes.
And you have dogs?
I have one dog.
You don't keep him in a pen?
No, he stays in the house.
Okay. But if you had hunting dogs and you had this line of, how many pens do you think there were?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I mean, there's a lot.
8, 9, 10?
Sure.
And are you familiar with the concept of washing a pen out after a dog defecates in the pen?
I've never personally done it, but I'm sure that's what you would do to clean out a pen.
Okay. In the pen, I mean, there's water inside the pens and outside the pens, correct?
So what?
That's what it looks like.
Okay. Go ahead.
Let's see how it's commercial.
Torres, no, he just let my dog shit on ceilings.
And again, we're looking at the dog pen, and the water appears to be outside the pen on the concrete.
I would object. I think that the video needs to be stopped for counsel to ask this question and for the witness to respond.
Well, just so we can hear, for fuck's sakes.
What is that? Playing a video
I'm sorry, Aaron.
or making a statement while playing the video.
I'm sorry. The technology again is.
Yep. This is the guy who 40 years ago couldn't stop the flashing 12 o'clock on his VCR.
Shows water on the concrete outside his dog pen.
Today.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. Go to the next one, please.
I'd put money on the fact that all of his clocks say different times at his house.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're not showing it. Is that a calculator watch he's wearing?
So again, this shows actually there's a light shining and you see a couple dogs. So those pens are occupied by dogs. There's water outside the pen and inside the pen as if somebody attempted to wash something out of the pen, correct?
So what?
There is water both inside and outside of the pen, yes.
They're saying he tried
So?
to wash out the blood.
The prosecution never said that. He just said there was a pool of blood and there was lots of water around.
Why else would you go down this road?
Oh.
Weird. Are they wearing
Jesus.
matching ties?
Oh, if you look at, everybody is wearing like a shade of blue or purple, like literally everybody. Even Long Tribe's back. Oh,
Yeah,
come on, guys.
But the technology is more complicated than.
It's literally a video file.
So let's proceed on. Let's see if I can clarify.
And you've had a year to figure this shit out, Dick.
Let's
Poon.
talk about the shotgun. This is the shotgun that Mr. Murdaugh was carrying or had leaning up against the car when you got there. Is that correct?
It was leaning up against that vehicle, yes.
And according to what you testified to just a moment ago, these are the shells, the chain of custody on the shotgun and the shell. They went together.
Whenever I released the shotgun to the SLED agent who took possession of it, I was unaware of any shells that may have been inside of it at the time that it was handed over. That was what was discovered inside the gun, is my understanding.
Okay. Where's that chain of evidence document? Okay, would you publish this to the jury, please?
Would you like me to read it?
Yes, please.
The Camo Benelli Super Black Eagle 3 12-gauge shotgun, serial number U573210E17, one unfired shot shell 12-gauge Federal, one unfired shot shell Winchester 16-gauge.
Okay, so there's a 12-gauge shell and a 16-gauge shell.
Yes.
12-gauge shotgun.
Yes.
This may be way beyond your experience, but can you fire a 16-gauge shotgun shell from a 12-gauge shotgun?
I wouldn't recommend trying it. I would not recommend trying it. I don't know that it would actually work or not.
Could it result in damage?
I don't think the results would be very good.
Fire the shotgun.
More than likely.
He's already said he doesn't have the answer to that. Objection's overruled.
So you would not, you can actually harm yourself. It could blow up if you pull the trigger on a 16-gauge and a 12-gauge shotgun.
I've never tried it nor seen it tried, so I don't
And the
know.
reason you don't do that is because it has personal harm from doing it, right?
It's possible.
So this shotgun, according to the chain of evidence you just read, had a 16-gauge and a 12-gauge in it.
Correct.
And was leaning up against the car.
It was. The shotgun was.
Now, I'm sort of interested as to.
Sure.
I'm sort of interested as to why. Well, let me just cut a chase on this. There's discussions on this tape, or maybe that there was a theory that Paul had shot his mother and then shot himself. Is that correct? That's
what?
Out on the scene.
Yes.
She had been shot multiple times. And he had been shot with a shotgun. At least one of the shots, we all believe was upward. That's why his brains were all over the ceiling.
That part I don't know. I wasn't involved in that part.
At the scene.
I did not discuss anything being shot upward. I don't recall saying that.
Did you hear discussions to that of your fellow officers?
Of a shot being fired upward?
Yeah.
That's what it looked like they were saying, yes.
Okay. And further, I think in front of you, one of the officers saying that
Taking notes. She's probably the town
on the
reporter.
ceiling, there's blood all over the place, correct?
I don't recall them saying brain was upward. I don't recall.
Okay. And further, you, as you're discussing this with them, indicate, let me make sure I get this correct.
Yeah, make sure you get it correct. Dude is old as fuck.
You indicate there are multiple, or someone indicates to you there are multiple blackout rounds around Maggie's body in the vicinity, correct?
Not rounds, but shell casings.
All right, shell casings. Now, let me ask you this. When you got there, didn't the fire chief and the fire department arrive before you did?
No, sir. I was first on scene.
Okay, did they arrive while you were there?
One of the fire rescue workers, I believe it was Barry McCoy.
And when you got there, we hear unidentified person, and in your notes, you indicate it was the fire chief, I believe, that indicated to you, pointed out to you tire tracks, and you went over and looked at those tire tracks, and there were multiple tire tracks coming and going, correct?
I don't know that someone indicated them to me. I believe I just saw them.
Okay. And what did you do to preserve those?
The tire tracks, nothing.
And you certainly are not an expert in tire tracks.
I'm not.
So you couldn't tell whether it was multiple vehicles or one vehicle.
No.
And it may have been multiple vehicles.
May have been.
Did you take pictures of the tracks?
I did not take any pictures of the scene.
Instruct anyone to take pictures of the tracks?
No, sir. That's not my job.
When SLED arrived, did you tell them about the tracks?
No, sir. Not my job.
You regret not doing that.
It's not part of my job description.
So what's your job to even tell them there were multiple tire tracks?
If it had come up, if I had been asked, yes.
And in addition to that, since they were not secured in any way, multiple vehicles, law enforcement vehicles and others, drove over those tracks.
That's possible. I wasn't over there the whole time to know what kind of vehicles were driving in the area.
They're saying he destroyed
By the
evidence.
time SLED got there, did you strike that? You never took SLED over and pointed out tire tracks.
Not to my recollection, I did not.
Was there somebody there at this with your department that should have done that?
Flux.
I have no idea what they do with their job descriptions as far as what they point out to additional investigators.
So hot.
Did somebody
Nice.
from fire and rescue
Yeah.
point out footprints?
I believe on my body camera there is a fire rescue individual pointing out some footprints.
Okay. Did you take pictures of those?
I did not.
Did you tell SLED about them?
I did not.
So nobody attempted to determine whether those were Maggie's footprints, Paul's footprints, or at least that night, there was no effort by you or your department to preserve those.
By me, no, I cannot speak for everyone else.
Okay. And let me ask you this.
Yes, Kaiser. Yes, it is.
How about go to 4439, please?
I don't know what else you'd call it. That sounds about perfect.
And let's watch 10, at least 10, if not 15 seconds of that.
Eva, curb your tongue. This is why people don't watch my channel. But yet this is also why people do watch my channel.
We're wholesome degenerates here.
Well, wouldn't say I'm wholesome.
You have the distinct honor of being the most, selling the most books for Stephen Gosney in a live stream.
I do.
I have the distinct honor of selling the least at -1.
What, someone canceled an order?
He gave me one. This is the -1 from Steve Gosney right here.
Nice. You should narrate audiobooks, according to Just Aaron.
I should? All right.
I was actually thinking about doing that yesterday. During jury selection 2 days ago. It's like start reading some H.P. Lovecraft.
Do some voiceover work. You got
Just
the
to
voice
pass the
for
time.
it. You got the voice for it.
The defense strategy seems just to be fuck up the technology.
I'd object. They're putting a transcript that's not been.
No, we're going to play the video.
It's up on the screen.
This here moving picture device is malfunctioning.
I apologize.
These talkies are beyond me.
We have to prepare the transcript. It's synced with
The
video.
court's barely got people in it again.
Your Honor, I object. This transcript's not been provided. There's no need for a transcript. The officer is here. They can play the video and he can comment.
The transcript being offered. You have
Oh.
questions for the witness, questions for your IT guy, you're just reading, ready to proceed? I understand. We're
The
waiting
judge
for
ain't-
you.
The judge ain't putting up with this boomer shit. He's not even a boomer. He's like just like Stone Age. He's like unfrozen caveman lawyer.
I think I like him.
The judge or the defense
The
lawyer?
judge. The judge.
Okay, I was gonna like slap your ass there.
No. The judge. He seems across as very no nonsense. I kind of dig it.
But see, Dick Poon, the defense lawyer here, he's a state senator who has an extensive career in handling murder cases and death penalty cases. But he's acting like he's just never seen a microphone, never seen a computer.
You think that the TV crew's throwing him off?
I don't know what the hell. He's just weird. He's just an old guy. And he's got this transcript that he wants to put in that they don't need and nobody's seen before. They don't know if it's accurate. They haven't authenticated it. They haven't laid any foundation for bringing it in. That's why the judge is crawling up his ass about it. It's IT dementia, says Chaos Coordinator. This guy predates boomers by a bajillion years. This guy's like,
He actually might
ancient.
be a real boomer. Like, legit.
They've literally had a year to figure out how to push play on fucking VLC player.
I'm not defending him. You'd figure with 7 defense lawyers, one of them would figure it out.
Let me
It may be, Jack.
play this.
We'll read
Let me
it during
just
the
cut
lunch
to the
break.
chase. It's taking too much time. On this transcript, on this tape, fire rescue person says to you, I believe you agreed with me, set of prints behind the trailer. You were told there's.
Jack, he's publishing again this
I'm not
transcript.
publishing, I'm asking.
Ooh,
Did
settle down
you-
there,
I
old fuck.
object.
Snappy.
Haven't heard a question yet.
I'd like to make one. Were you told by fire and rescue there's a set of prints behind the trailer?
Yes.
Okay. And did he tell you that they attempted to not disturb those footprints in any way?
I don't recall exactly what was said.
Let me further ask you. You asked Mr. Murdaugh, we heard this on the tape, you talked about the tire tracks coming and going, and he told you those weren't his tire tracks, correct?
He did say that they were not.
Okay. And further,
This defense lawyer's family
he
probably owned
indicated to
people.
you, Mr. Murdaugh did, that he felt this was
100%.
related to the boat case.
100%.
He indicated you knew about the boat case, you read about the boat case.
Wow.
Case Paul had been charged with 3 counts of felony DUI, killing a young girl and wounding 2 others, correct?
I don't know much details about that case. I really don't.
Okay. But Mr. Murdaugh indicated to you that the threats made against Paul,
He did.
and that he even got in a fight once about it,
I believe he said punched.
okay? And so on the scene, he believed that Paul's death was connected to someone angry about the boat case, correct?
Back to that, Your Honor, as to what he believed.
Yep.
Asking the witness what another person believed.
Objection's overruled.
Thank you.
Oh,
On the scene, Mr. Murdaugh indicated to you he thought the death of his son was related to his son's involvement in the death of the young lady and the injury of 2 others in the boat case, correct?
It appeared that that's what he was getting at, yes.
On the tape. Now, let's talk a little bit about the preservation of the crime scene.
let's play a game. Let's
He
play.
might have a-
Yeah, go ahead.
What did
He
you
might have a
do
point
other
here,
than
though,
put
right?
yellow tape up
Yeah.
to preserve the crime scene?
What point's that?
If there's tire track evidence.
That is about the extent of my job, is to put up the tape and make sure that people that don't need to cross it don't cross it.
And I noticed that there were officers walking around putting little pieces of tape near shell casings.
There was one officer doing that, yes.
And in the process of doing that, I didn't see any lights other than maybe a flashlight. Were there any, did y'all put up any sort of high intensity lights so people could make sure they weren't stepping on something in the dark?
At that point, there was no additional lighting that had been put up.
But you and your officers were walking through that entire area, is that correct?
We were walking in the area, yes.
Okay, and did you actually walk, I mean, the feed room, and let me, maybe this is the best way to do this.
No, this isn't the best way to do it.
Oh, pictures, please.
He's almost got that Jerry Nadler waddle, don't he?
Yeah, well, meanwhile, he looks like Jerry Springer, the defendant. It's kind of like
He does.
the giant Jerry Springer.
He does.
Let's see if we can spot Court TV's Chanley. She'd be like the only attractive woman with the proper number of chromosomes in the gallery, I believe.
I'd like to use the Elmo.
Oh my God! This guy's a dyna-fucking-sore. He's still referring to the overhead projector. He's still using an overhead projector, and he still refers to it as an Elmo.
I've never heard the term Elmo.
It was a brand name back in the early '90s. That's what they were like referring to it during the O.J. Simpson trial. They were calling it the Elmo.
Interesting.
Oh my! How do they find a fucking working overhead projector in 2022? An Elmo brand. Does Elmo still make them? Holy crap!
I wasn't aware they still made overhead projectors.
Seriously.
Is that Murdaugh's son behind him, the redhead?
The one that looked like Conan O'Brien on steroids? Yeah.
He kind of does, actually.
No, Elmo makes cloud-based things now, like the whiteboards, the interactive whiteboards, things like that.
Photographs. I'm going to use the Elmo in just a moment to show this witness.
Oh, and they do still make document cameras
without
apparently.
objection by the state, as I understand it.
Once they're marked, I have no objection. I would note they're graphic and they need to be shielded from view.
Elmo ready?
Is Elmo's always ready.
What would the exhibit numbers be for the defense?
I don't care how
Why
much
does the
he
old man want to use Elmo?
I'm not tickling you. I don't care how much he has.
Defense
Elmo
1 and
doesn't
2
like
are
the old
admitted
man.
without objection.
Oh.
Okay. So, thank you.
Nicholas Starr of Union Rep Labor Law.
Show you.
When they set the date for the trial, did they take into account it takes Poon 20 minutes between questions?
I don't think so.
Probably.
That would be a picture of Paul.
And the second one, which would be exhibit number 2.
Picture of Maggie.
When you say picture of Paul and picture of Maggie, these are crime scene photos, correct?
They appear to be, yes.
Is this what you saw that night?
Oh, no,
Yes.
Eva.
Both of these pictures?
Yes.
Accurately depict what you saw that night?
Yes.
Yeah, that massive redhead back there, that is his only surviving son.
He's hoping for a $10 million outcome out of this, ain't he?
Well, he ain't getting it. Dad's still alive.
For now, anyway.
Got Ray Charles back there in the courtroom. You see? That's nice.
Ray Charles.
Yeah, right back there.
Oh.
Complete with dark glasses. It must be purple day in the courtroom. It's got to be like literally everyone is wearing something blue or purple.
I was going to make a joke, but I'm not going to.
Go ahead, make it.
Why you got to point out the black guy and then call out purple?
That's it, ma'am. That's a woman.
Was it?
Yes.
Oh, that makes
Yeah, that
me
is
a bigger
some-
bigot. Damn it.
So as you look at this, I want to make sure I understand. One of Paul's feet is still inside. This is the feed room behind him, correct?
Yes.
And this is
G. Gordon Liddy
his
again,
head,
behind the
lots of blood,
sun.
and this would be a part of his brain lying next to him, correct?
I don't know if that's part of his brain or not.
Oh God!
Why? Why?
I don't know if that's part of his brain
Right.
or not.
So
Ugh.
it's fair to say you didn't know whether that was part of his brain. When you first saw him, you didn't know whether his injuries were catastrophic or he was dead. Or did you?
It was very clear that it was catastrophic.
Okay. That's great.
Oh yeah, more purple,
Now,
please.
What just happened?
We definitely need more purple.
That's gonna go well.
When
I got a
you
fever,
came
and
upon
the cure is
scene,
more purple.
Clearly, this feed room was part of the crime scene, correct?
Yes.
Now, you're taught to keep the crime scene pristine.
What the
correct?
fuck is going
As,
on
as soon
here?
as possible, yes.
Don't,
They set the
there's
mood
no
for
reason
the
for you to go
overhead
in there,
projector.
was there?
Me at the time, no.
Okay. Was there any reason for the
Well, the
police?
lights are out.
Before the Slade crime folks showed up, was there any reason for you all to go in?
I like how the feed camera's like, it's not us, it's the
There's no
light.
reason for me to go in there. I cannot speak if there was a reason for another officer to have gone in there.
Well, let me ask you this. Did you all have any sort of crime
We didn't
scene
mess up our
expert
promise.
with you that night? Someone that processes crime scenes?
Investigators do process crime scenes.
Okay. Do you remember going in that?
Dick Saucer's smart.
I don't remember if I did specifically or
But
not.
you shouldn't have if you did, correct?
It's not to say that I shouldn't have. If there was something that needed to be done in there, then yes.
I guess what I'm getting at is, I think one of the, and you would agree with me, one of the cardinal rules of a crime scene is keep it pristine. Don't walk over things. Try to preserve tire tracks. Get pictures of them. Footprints.
Elmo
all those
likes the
sorts of
dark.
things. Was somebody with the officers with you? Were you in charge of the scene?
I was in charge of the deputies that were under my immediate supervision until someone higher than me arrived on scene.
And were those deputies directed by you or anyone to do something to preserve the tire tracks? Pictures? Cordon them off? Cover them up?
I did not give anyone that instruction, no.
So you
Okay.
didn't do that. In terms of Paul, where Paul was laying, was anybody instructed, put a cordon around him? There's no reason to go into the feed room. There's no reason to do anything obtrusive until the SLED crime scene process. They're on the way at this point, right?
I believe they were, yes.
And so okay. So let's put the other one.
Holy sheep says I'm blue, bada bee,
That's
bee,
Maggie
bow. I'm
Murdoch.
not sure what tune that's to, but I would have gone with Am I Blue?
It's Eiffel 65, I think, is the band. I'm blue, da ba dee da ba da, da ba dee da ba.
Oh, you youngsters and your newfangled music.
Eiffel 65.
That's why we
I
have
was right.
Valhalla here.
I was right.
Yeah.
Eiffel 65.
Valhalla is here to bring me up to date on the post 2000 music scene.
Just learn Linkin Park and you'll be all right.
I know Linkin Park.
Oh. I think that song came out when I was in high school. I believe.
Never heard of him. Eiffel 65. Never heard of him. I was 53 years old, today years old, when I heard of Eiffel what? Eiffel 65? All right.
They didn't have a whole lot of hits.
See? Now this one we get Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain. See, now that's my music there.
Who's that one?
Oh, shame on you.
Are you frantically
Really?
Googling it?
No. I was gonna start singing Liberace.
Liberace.
6'2", eyes of blue. Was 5'2", eyes of blue. Has anybody seen my girl?
Liberace wasn't going after no girl.
Yeah. True. Have I ever told my story of when I punched Liberace in the stomach when I was 4 years old?
I haven't heard it.
I'll have to tell that someday.
I'm sorry.
I want to hear that someday.
And can you
How did
identify
you
this?
get
for the
Liberace?
jury, please?
That picture?
It's a story.
It's Maggie Murdaugh.
Blue morning, blue
That's
day. Great song. See?
And by the way, when you saw her was it apparent that she was deceased? You believe? Have you ever seen a dead body before?
I have seen multiple, yes.
Many, right?
Yes.
So you're sort of an expert in this area. Who's dead? Who's
I actually
not.
had that Foreigner
Will they
album.
get EMS there to check them out or not? Correct. You
I-
make that call often.
Yes.
But you could understand.
Oh, I never answered your question.
Obviously,
Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain is Willie Nelson.
Alex Murdaugh's concern that they might
You
be
heard of him?
alive, that maybe,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he shouldn't be concerned that somebody check out both Maggie and Paul.
Behind
make sure,
Blue
make
Eyes.
sure they
Another
were
great
dead,
song.
right?
He was very concerned about that, yes.
Okay.
Oh, Mel Torme.
Now,
Blue moon,
as to
you saw me standing alone.
Maggie Murdaugh, we see these
All right.
numbers. Did y'all do these numbers or were they done after y'all?
Shut up and listen here.
I don't know when those numbers were done. They were not placed by myself.
For your team?
I can't say that for sure, certain.
We see that in the video that they're putting down yellow tape. They're not putting these down, correct?
That's correct.
Now, you also, according to the video we saw, a number of your officers are walking around marking where cartridges are, right?
They were.
Did they pick any of them up?
No, not to my knowledge.
Well, later on, we see them talking to you and others on the video where they're saying these rounds came from a blackout. They're blackout rounds. Or blackout.
300 blackout, yes, sir.
Right. Did they get down on their hands and knees and look, or, did they?
You would have to ask them. I don't know what they did to know that they were 300 blackout rounds.
They read the back of them.
Well, who were those officers that were walking around her without a light on, perhaps stepping on evidence, correct? Who were those officers?
Deputy McDowell and Deputy Pruitt were both in that area.
Were they doing that pursuant to your instruction?
They were not specifically instructed to do it. They just took the initiative to do it.
Okay, I don't know. I want to play.
You ready? Do I have to turn the Elmo off? Are we good? Yep, we're good.
Yeah, turn Elmo off.
Turn the lights back on.
Well, that's over there. That's
Okay, so this is, your officer is putting a sheet on Paul's body?
Not putting a sheet on. The sheet was already there.
Already there, okay, continue, please.
Fire rescue might have some more sheets we can steal.
That's why it shouldn't be anybody. There is more.
Who's that standing inside the feed room?
Just inside that doorway was Deputy McDowell.
Okay, were you present? Oh, is that your body cam? So you're watching them do it, right?
That's correct.
Should he have done that?
Stand where he's standing.
Standing inside the feed room?
It's part of the crime scene. We're all standing inside of the crime scene.
Gotcha.
Inside what?
The crime scene. We are all standing in the same crime scene.
I understand the same crime scene, but clearly you believe, based on discussion, and everyone in your unit believe that the fatal shot was made where he's basically standing, correct? That in that area?
Where we are all standing.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Is that procedure to walk around on top of an area where shots have been fired?
Good question.
And I think even in this, they're talking about tissue or brain matter laying there. Aren't you supposed to, you don't put anything on your feet?
Question, there's not a question in that statement.
Mr. Stain, you must pose questions.
Did you in any way have your men or women put protective gear on their feet? I saw you put gloves on, but did they put anything to insulate themselves from contaminating the scene?
On their feet, no.
Ooh.
In many instances, departments around the country have people dressed in a gown to keep their DNA, their hair from contaminating the scene. Do you do that?
We do not on road patrol in Gallatin County as standard practice, no.
You do not do that.
Not a standard practice, no.
Have you ever done that?
I have not.
Have you ever had something covering your feet when you're walking on a crime scene?
I couldn't tell you that for sure.
Now, if we later on find, and did you notice bloody footprints? Well, first of all, did you notice bloody footprints inside the feed room?
I don't remember seeing any.
Sorry?
I don't remember seeing any bloody footprints.
Love Linda.
If there were bloody footprints in the feed room, could they have been created by you or your men?
They could have been created by anyone walking in that area.
And you're walking in there, or your men are walking in.
Oh, he's doing an excellent job of
And you think that's
showing crime scene contamination.
standard operating procedure?
Well, you do your best not to contaminate anything.
Ooh. And this is your best.
Ooh.
Yikes.
What you're looking at right now is standard procedure.
Yikes.
To walk
But is standard procedure the best?
where there's blood, where there's brain matter, where there's, and I believe there was wadding laying on the floor.
I don't recall.
But you would agree with me that you have these procedures so that you don't contaminate the crime scene, so that you don't destroy evidence like those tire tracks or those footprints, or leave your DNA, or in some way alter the scene so that if, I mean, you would agree with me, so that, let me finish the question, so that if there is exculpatory or inculpatory evidence that would help you find the perpetrator and prosecute him, or evidence that would clear somebody, that was destroyed. Some of that was destroyed that night because your department, and maybe even SWED, didn't preserve that evidence. Isn't that correct?
I'm not sure if I fully understand your question.
The question is this: if you are exfoliating, you're standing, your men are standing in the spot.
Exfoliating. He means if your hair
and there
falls
was
out.
evidence there, or the tire tracks that weren't preserved, or the footprints that weren't preserved.
Oh no!
If
Cell
that
phone in the
evidence
court.
could either incriminate somebody
I thought it was yours.
or exculpate somebody. Could, correct?
Could, yes.
That's why you don't do this, right?
That's why you don't contaminate the evidence, correct?
That didn't go so well for Sergeant Green there.
Wow, no, that was very, very good cross-examination. He just should have been a lot more dynamic about it and got to that point about 25 minutes ago.
Agreed. This cop looks like a 12-year-old with a full beard. It's kind of weird. He's got like those wide, innocent eyes.
I'm kind of stunned by that, really. Oh, I think we've overcompensated for the light.
Yeah.
We put it around the whole area.
Did you put it so that folks couldn't drive in and out?
They were not to go past where my vehicle was parked. I believe that was the extent of the yellow tape.
But between your vehicle and the entrance, there was none of those tire tracks were preserved.
Entrance of
The property. That if somebody had driven into the property
You mean from the main road of Moselle
from
Road?
the main road,
All the vehicles were coming in on that driveway.
right? So if somebody had come in and left, who committed the murders, whatever tire tracks that were left were obliterated by your men. Is that right?
Okay,
It's
this is
possible.
really good questioning.
Were you there when the coroner arrived?
Given my extent of the time there, I would assume so, but I don't remember
You don't remember
specifically.
seeing the coroner? The coroner.
I may have. I don't remember specifically.
Apparently, according to the body cam, you didn't talk to him.
Not on my body camera, but it could have been after the body camera was turned off. I don't know.
And why'd you turn it off?
Why was the body camera turned off?
Yes.
Once my specific job of doing any primary investigation after my initial arrival is completed, and I'm not going to be doing anything further to investigate, it's no longer needed.
Remember,
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court. You were asked a series of questions about contaminated evidence. Are you aware that any evidence was contaminated in this case?
I'm not.
Did you engage in everything you could to avoid contaminating evidence?
Yes.
Did you in fact instruct your deputies, set up a crime scene and instruct them to avoid areas where evidence might be contaminated?
We did everything we possibly could to avoid contaminating.
Your officers all have basic training in trying to avoid contamination of evidence?
Yes.
Are you also, though, as first responders in a fluid situation, doing the best you can to assess what's going on?
Correct.
It's not your job to do the actual crime scene investigation work, is that correct?
Not at all.
You were asked about whether or not you'd had any meetings with prosecutors. Is it common for law enforcement witnesses or anybody to meet with the prosecutors prior to a trial?
Very common.
Okay. Did anybody ask you to do anything but express your accurate and honest opinions and observations about what you observed at this scene?
No.
You were asked about this particular shotgun right here. This 12-gauge shotgun. This is the shotgun that ALEX Murdaugh had when you arrived at the scene. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you were asked about the shells right here. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Did you unload this weapon?
I did not.
Was it unloaded by somebody else after you turned it over to them?
Yes.
You asked a little bit about the 300 blackout casings or cases that were at the scene. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. And just real quick, explain to the jury what a casing or a case is, please.
So a casing would be what would be left after the projectile has been fired through a weapon.
After it had been fired, the shell that comes out of the gun and lands on the ground near the victim. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So it's the remnants of a fired round. Is that right?
That's correct.
There were multiple ones of those blackouts surrounding Maggie. Is that correct?
That is correct.
You were asked a lot about the tire tracks, and you just happened to notice those over behind the defendant's vehicle. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And we had a still image put into evidence, exhibit number 5. This is it right here, which is the still image. Is that right?
Yes.
All right. And the still image doesn't reflect as good as what the video does. Is that right? You can see
the video shows it much better.
Much better. All right. Were these like tracks in the dirt, or were these just impressions in the grass, in the dewy grass?
They appear to be impressions on the dewy grass.
They weren't like tracks in the dirt that you saw, correct?
No.
All right. I'm going to go back to the video.
He's much more to the point.
I'm playing it at approximately 25 minutes and 11 seconds.
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay. From earlier, but only 2 were mine.
Did you go out this way at all?
No.
Billy Trap.
For me back.
Let's go over to that corner of the building.
Legal Mindset Andrew has awakened.
What's up, buddy?
The sleeper has awakened.
I'm almost to you. Let me see what we have first and whether or not we can handle that part or not.
I see quite a few tire tracks in here. Were any of these you going in and out?
No, I came in here and I left one time and I came back.
Okay.
But the rest of them, maybe.
Okay.
From earlier, but only 2 were mine.
Did you go out this way?
This is a redirect of the first police officer.
Impressions in the grass that you were
First
just talking about. Is
responder,
that
yeah.
correct?
That's correct.
And the defendant said 2 of them were mine and the rest of them may have been from earlier. Is that correct?
Yes.
You were asked a little bit about the boat case. Did you have any detailed knowledge or understanding of the boat case when you arrived at the scene?
No.
You just knew very generally that there was some boat case. Is that right?
Yes, it had been in the news.
Did you even realize that this was that Paul Murdaugh when you arrived on the scene?
Not until he had brought up the boat incident.
And who
Not
brought
until
up
you
the
drove
boat?
through his 1,700 acre
Within
ranch.
a few minutes of you arriving. He's the one that brought up the boat incident. Is
He
that
did.
correct? And he offered that right out of the gate as a possible explanation for what happened here. Is that right?
Yes.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Wow.
Anything further?
Your Honor.
Recross.
Do you find it unreasonable for him to say that his son, who'd been involved in this incident, who'd been threatened on numerous occasions, been punched? He told you he'd been punched, right?
He did.
Okay. That was a possible explanation, not implausible, for somebody killing Paul. You didn't bite back on him, did you?
No.
And it was, in his mind, apparently the only reasonable explanation that occurred, right?
I don't know what was in his
Well, I
mind.
mean, that's what he told you. That's what he believed.
That was the statement that he made, yes.
Okay. And just one other follow-up question. You were asked if there was any evidence, the dewy tire tracks. This was at 10 o'clock at night. Was there dew on the ground already?
It was pretty humid out. There was a lot of
It was
dew.
humid.
Yeah.
It wasn't in the morning.
This was not morning time.
So, and are you telling me no one could have looked, no expert could have looked and said, that's a Suburban, that's a pickup truck, no one could do that? Or
I'm not going to pretend to know what an expert in that kind of stuff can and can't do.
But you're not an expert. Did you believe those tire tracks would last until SLED got there?
Yes, it appeared that they probably would.
Did you point them out to SLED?
Did I do it?
Did you point them out to SLED?
I did not.
You may step down.
All right, that is the end of this witness. I'm assuming they're going to take a lunch break now. I hope so.
Call your next witness.
Oh,
Nope.
that's quick.
The
We'll
state
catch you
calls
up in a minute.
Corporal McDowell.
I don't know who else
Hey.
needs to hear this. Sergeant Green and any other gentleman. When you're seated in a jacket, unbutton the jacket, please. Don't leave it buttoned while you're seated.
Yeah.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give to the court in this trial shall be the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. If you'll have a seat and adjust that microphone,
He's going to do
make
it
sure
to
you
you.
speak into that microphone. State your name and spell your last name, please.
My name is Chad McDowell. The last name is spelled McDowell.
Corporal McDowell, how you doing today?
Good.
Tell the jury where you work, please.
I work for College County Sheriff's Office. I'm assigned to the road patrol, the K-9 handler.
Okay, and can you just give us a quick background of who you are, where you grew up, and how you ended up in your career in law enforcement?
Sure. I grew up in Colleton County, went to Colleton County High School, went to college at Tri-County Technical College, where I studied criminal justice. Once
Just
I
a
reached
good
age,
old
I came
boy.
home, was hired by Colleton County Sheriff's Office. Left for a couple of years to go work for Jasper County, and then came back to Colleton. I've been assigned to road patrol at Colleton.
All right, and what year did you first start working for Colleton County Sheriff's Department, or began your law enforcement career?
2016.
And what's your current, you said you're a corporal now, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And what is your current assignment? What are your duties?
I'm still assigned to road patrol. I'm a K-9 handler.
All right, you say K-9. Explain to the jury what that is.
So I have a K-9 that is assigned to me. We respond to certain calls if we're requested by another deputy for narcotics searches for suspects, things of that matter.
All right, K-9 is a dog, correct?
That's correct.
All right, what's your dog's name?
Eva.
Eva? What kind of dog is Eva?
He's a Belgian Malinois.
Malinois?
Yep.
Is that kind of like a German Shepherd?
Kind of short-haired, pointy ears.
I got you. Short hair, pointy ears. Is Evo typically with you when you're out on patrol?
Yes, sir.
Was Evo with you the night of June 7th, 2021?
Yes, sir.
Were you a corporal then at that time?
No, sir. I was a deputy.
All right. And who was on the squad that you were on?
Sergeant Daniel Green, Corporal Elise Janicki, myself, and
who is your
Deputy
barber,
Cody
young
Pruitt.
man?
And so who was your immediate supervisor?
It would have been Corporal Janicki.
And then above that is
Sergeant Green.
All right. And then above that?
Lieutenant Nettles.
All right. And then above that?
Captain Krause.
Okay. What shift were you working the night of June 7th, 2021?
Yes, sir, I was.
And that was in Colleton County?
Yes, sir.
And what shift were you working that night?
Night shift.
Did you ultimately respond to a call for service at 4147 Moselle Road.
Yes, sir.
And you actually went there?
I did.
And who did you
come
service?
to the incident location at the kennels at that property at 4147 Moselle Road?
I did.
Is that in Colleton County?
It is.
Were you, when you arrived, what other first responders were on scene to your recollection?
Sergeant Green was there. There was one other fire rescue personnel vehicle in there. I believe the rest were staged, best I can remember. When I say
Isis
staged, I
actors?
mean
It was staged.
at the head of the driveway.
Oh.
There may have been a couple of other apparatuses on scene.
And which, do you recall which driveway you entered? Did you enter the driveway near the kennels?
The back one.
Where you came from?
Yes, sir. It was same driveway everyone else entered.
So you were parked behind
Sergeant Green.
Green's?
Yes, sir.
What did you do after that? After you got out of your vehicle, what did you do?
I approached the crime scene. I was trying to make my way to Sergeant Green to see what he needed me to do. I made my way through the crime scene as carefully as I could. I approached Sergeant Green, saw that he was interviewing the only person on scene. So I went back to my vehicle.
And did you see who he was interviewing?
Mr. Murdaugh. Yes, sir.
Do you see him in the courtroom here today?
Yes, sir.
Can you point him out?
Yes, sir. He's in the middle, navy blue suit.
Your Honor, can the record reflect he's identified the defendant?
And literally everyone in the courtroom is wearing some shade of blue.
What's been marked as Exhibit 6 to your testimony?
No objection.
And this is a disc, but I want you to take a look at it and see if you recognize this disc.
Yes, sir. I do.
All right, and what is on this disc?
It'd be body cam footage from my body cam that I wore.
All right, and how do you know that this is that body cam footage?
It has my initials on it.
So you reviewed this and put your initials on it, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. If I could get input, please.
All right, looking at the body cam footage. They're not showing it. They're just playing the audio for the body cams.
Some kind of grisly stuff going on, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're using an overhead projector. That's what we figured out. That's why they went. When they go dark.
Let me ask you this. When you got this call for service, were you currently
It's
on another
lunchtime. Let us
call for
go.
service, or are you just out on patrol?
No, sir. I was just out on patrol.
He's a
Service,
state
what did you
senator.
do?
State senator.
Did you activate your lights
I
and sirens?
activated lights and sirens and responded to the incident location.
And once you do that, do you make all haste to get to that incident location as fast, but it also as reasonably safe as you can?
Yes, sir.
Is that standard operating procedure?
Yes, sir.
The first 10 minutes, sorry. The first 10 minutes of this body cam are essentially you driving to the scene. Is that correct, roughly?
Yes, sir.
Oh
I'm gonna
God.
fast forward to
Okay, thank you.
closer in time when you arrive. I heard proceed to the road. What was that?
I had a GPS activated on my phone.
Just like most people use. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Take a slight left turn. In a quarter mile, arrive at 4147
Oh, geez.
Moselle Road.
All right. While they're going through this, the first responding officer, Officer Green. I think the prosecution did not do a good job as the first witness.
Are these the kennels that you saw when you arrived at the property?
Yes, sir.
And to the right is sort of the shed or the hangar. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Let me ask you this. You're obviously serving as a road patrol officer, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you, what is your job as a road patrol officer, as a first responder when you come upon a scene like this? What is your particular role as you arrive at something like this?
We go on scene, we secure the scene, meaning make sure there's no active threat for other arriving first responders. We'll preserve the scene to the best of our ability and then turn the scene over to arriving detectives.
When you arrive at a scene like this, are you constantly not only paying attention for any threat or anything like that, but also making sure that you don't disturb or any sort of evidence that may be at the scene?
Yes, sir.
Is that part of your general training and standard operating procedure?
It is.
You also have to couple that, though, with the duties of a first responder, which is to get to that scene, to secure it, make sure there's no active threats, and get it under control. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So the duties of a first responder have both of those sort of balancing together. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Or are you constantly always looking around for evidence, not only to identify it, but also to assure that you don't disturb anything? Is that your general?
Your Honor, leading.
Thank you, Your Honor. What is your general training as a road officer as it relates to coming upon a scene and looking for evidence?
Our number one duty would be safety. Number two, we're looking for evidence so as not to disturb it.
Thank you.
Duty.
Right there to the right, what is that to the right of the screen?
It'd be Miss Murdaugh's body.
Murdaugh. Margaret Brandstetter Murdaugh.
Who are those individuals right there?
Sergeant Green and Mr. Murdaugh.
How you doing?
What did the defendant say to you right there?
He said, "How are you doing?"
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
No, sir.
How you doing? That's what he
He's the
said?
one who was saying how
Yes,
you
sir.
looked. Okay. Yeah, they were calling about that with the first
I'm okay.
with the first officer.
9/15/68.
Okay, and what's your son's first name? You said Paul?
Paul Terry Murdaugh.
What's his birthday?
4. What are they covering him up?
Tell them they don't have to do that.
He's asked that if we don't have to disturb anything, not to. We've got a sled on the way. Yep.
All right, what were you asking fire and rescue to do at that point?
Just to try to preserve it the best they could. If they
You were
didn't
asking them- But what were you specifically asking them not to do?
cover the bodies if they didn't have to.
All right, and what was their response, though?
I couldn't make it out. I believe he said we're covering them for family responding. I couldn't make it out. He's asked that if we don't have to disturb anything, not to. We've got a sled on the way. Yep.
That's it.
Do you recall now?
Again, it sounds like he says we're going to cover him up because of the family being here.
Does the family being here?
That's what it sounds like.
All right.
Right through here, we'll land this way here. So this is strong enough.
Yes, I agree.
I told everybody else to chance once they don't really have to come down
Thank you. Hey, Cody, I need a piece of that tape whenever you get done.
What did you just ask Cody for?
A piece of tape, piece of crime scene tape.
All right, and who was Cody?
Deputy Pruitt, he's the one that you see there with the yellow crime scene tape.
And why did you ask Deputy Pruitt for some crime scene tape?
I had observed a shell casing on the ground. I wanted to mark it so that it didn't become disturbed.
Your general duties as an officer, you observed something and you asked for some tape to mark it. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And that's what you were previously describing your role is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah. If y'all don't mind, just mark them. Do what? Okay. I got a casing right here, so watch your step.
That casing that you saw, did you recognize what kind of ammunition it was?
Yes, sir.
What kind of ammunition was it?
300 blackout casing.
And how could you tell it was a 300 blackout casing?
Just my own personal experience. I own a 300 blackout, and I recognized it.
You recognize
That's a
the case
rare
from your own
gun, and
experience?
everybody in this
Yes,
county
sir.
has one. You're muted.
Sorry,
muted,
I was
Andrew.
sneezing. Sorry, I was sneezing. It's not that rare, but uncommon, I think.
This is the third one we've heard about. Yeah, good thing they weren't FBI agents. Those dogs would be
300
shot.
blackout.
Oh yeah, they'd be dead.
I'm considering it myself at this point.
I'm glad I have my earphones on and my dogs aren't hearing this shit. They'd be going crazy.
Same.
Did you observe any dogs in the kennels?
I did.
Do you remember how many or where they were?
I do not remember.
More than one dog, though?
I don't remember. They said they had several casings by her body, but this one will be a little bit harder to find later, so I want to mark it real fast.
If your twat's barking, you have
That
bigger
casing, were
problems.
you careful not to disturb its location where you found it?
Yes, sir. I placed the tape beside it and then placed a rock on top so it wouldn't blow away. Why are there so many shell casings and only one?
Okay, can we not have the dental drill screeching in the background too? So bad.
Sorry to do that to everyone. Well, what was that loud noise?
It's just my windshield wipers.
Oh, Jesus,
why was it
change
making
your
that
ways.
noise?
They had removed all the moisture, I guess. I don't see anybody.
Yeah, I had to turn my audio down.
Can I see a couple more? I found some more.
Matter of fact,
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why it's 300 blackout. I'm trying to figure out why there's so many shell casings, but only one gunshot went to the back of each head.
Interesting.
Not my job to figure that out. I'm just curious. I only saw one more casing.
Lots of
But just in
casings,
case I
one
see more.
shot, one gunshot wound. Interesting.
Daniel put his car in there.
He said to the back of each head.
Yeah.
I thought
So
one was shot with the rifle and one was
No.
shot with a shotgun.
this
That's what I
is,
thought.
Yeah.
I'll tell you about this in a minute.
So he's just wrong.
There's one
May not have
there.
looked closely. I
There's
don't know.
blood over here.
Put the dog on the stand. It's like Lassie. Everybody can understand what he's saying.
Looking at shell casings, 300 blackout. Sheriff,
Those cases that you were marking right there, did you at all disturb the location where you saw them?
No, sir.
Is it your job to be doing a crime scene collection for this case, or are you just doing that to assist those who will do that will arrive at a later time?
No, sir. I don't collect anything. I'm just marking it so that they're not disturbed.
Probably. Yeah, those will be easy to find. I was just marking a couple that were in the gravel that might be harder to see at some point. Y'all familiar with this family?
I wasn't until someone names.
I'll fill you in later. I don't think there's going to be anything for me anybody to do here.
What did you just say right there?
I don't think there's going to be anything for me and Evo to do here.
All right. What did you mean by that?
There was no article search that needed to be conducted right then and there. Putting Evo on the ground could have caused more of a disturbance than just leaving him up.
Because that's a...
You said for Evo to do?
Yeah, for me and Evo. Please watch your...
Hey, watch the step.
Okay, watch your steps. That's good.
Huh? The gentleman in the white shirt is the president of the firm. Paul Murdaugh.
Get the dogs on the show, tell their side of the story. They're like, motherfucker kept us locked up in a kennel. Arrest him.
Yeah.
I wish I was drunk, says probably late, but how are we lads and lasses? We are doing great.
Retaliation from
Thank you so
family.
much.
Doing better than ALEX Murdaugh anyway.
300 blackouts sounds like a fuck it Friday.
Right.
It kind of does.
I like it. Oh, come on, prosecutor. You've been doing so good.
I'm going to now show you a portion of what's been previously admitted to evidence as Exhibit 1. And for the record, I'm starting it at 4227. Who's that to the right of the screen right there?
That would be me.
All right. And what are you about to do?
Step inside and assist CID with lifting that sheet.
All right. And were you asked to do that?
Yes, sir.
And who asked you to do that?
Captain Chapman.
All right. And where's Captain Chapman in this image?
In the middle
And is he a senior officer to you?
at that time.
Okay. And I noticed before you moved, what did you do?
Turned my light on
And why did you turn on your light?
so that I could plainly see what was underneath me where I was going.
Did you disturb any evidence or anything as you started to go into the feed room?
No, sir.
Were you careful to avoid doing that?
Yes, sir.
Did you kick any shell casings or waddings or anything like that when you went into the feed room?
No, sir.
Did you step on any bloody footprints when you went into the feed room?
No, sir.
If you had seen something like that before you stepped in there, what would you have done?
I would have stopped and notified the detective.
Notified the potato? What? All right, ladies and the guys, if you swing that way, Officer Chad, smash or pass?
That was going to be the question that I would bring up.
Give us a smash or pass in the chat for Officer Chad, and that's literally his name. So,
smash or be smashed.
What if anything was laying on Paul's rear end?
His cell phone or a cell phone.
Is that it in this image right here?
Yes, sir.
He looks like Rob.
yes, the people in the gallery see the videos.
Yeah, we don't. They do.
Ooh, not a single smash from the ladies so far. You guys are harsh. This is why you women are never going to be happy and satisfied.
Are you wearing a tie right now, Joe? Are you wearing a tie?
He's tall. He's well built. He's a police. Well, maybe it's. I mean, forget he's a police officer. Maybe that's why you're not smashing him.
He did have a shotgun with him. I have secured that vehicle.
Oh, Michelle smashed twice on Saturdays. It's like Sundays I'm a juror, and it's a good deed to have sex on Shabbat night. Nice. He looks like the jerk
You kind of
police
jump
from
out of the
Super
feed
Troopers.
room just then?
Yes, sir.
Did you turn on your light before you did so?
I believe so.
Watch it again. Did you jump out when you left the feed room?
Yes, sir.
And why'd you jump out like that?
Try not to disturb the body. It was easier to leap out than to try to step.
Did you enter the feed room at any point after that, to your recollection?
Not to my recollection.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as defense exhibit number 1 and see if you recognize this particular image.
That was a good one.
That was good.
Yes, sir.
That was funny.
I'll switch in for
She's right too.
Does that appear to, is that how you found Paul when you arrived at the scene?
Yes, sir.
Were his hands underneath him in that fashion when you arrived at the scene?
Yes, sir.
You're all right. Have State's Exhibit 7, I believe without objection. Without evidence. Objection. I'll show you what's been marked as Exhibit 7 and see if you recognize that image.
Yes, sir.
And what is that?
It's a still image of video of my body-worn camera.
Is that a still image of when the defendant said, "How you doing?" when you walked up?
Yes, sir.
Oh, come on. End your questioning. I want to go to sleep.
Jeff's tired.
I was like, these poor jurors. They're trying to starve him out.
Yeah. Yeah, they haven't even taken a piss break. Damn, look at that. Runkle's let himself go. Runkle there. He's all fat and shit now.
Oh, poor Uncle.
That's Chunkle.
Cross-examination.
Oh, thank you, Your Honor. Oh, Jesus, let him eat lunch for fuck's sakes.
They got to get pooned before lunch, you know.
Yeah.
When you got to the scene,
have some. You at least have some carbs before you have poon.
Can you repeat that question? I couldn't hear
You got a fuel to burn.
I'm sorry.
Oh, Jesus has entered the room. All the redheads burst into
I'll
flames.
speak a little bit louder.
Say that or the room's on fire, one of the two.
When you got to the scene,
the
who
redheads.
was your supervisor?
Sergeant Green.
Sergeant Green. And I believe Sergeant Green was
All right.
instructing all to put some yellow tape up. You did some of that?
No, sir.
You didn't do any of that?
And just for Andrew and those of you that just joined, during the cross-examination of the first evidence, Dick Poon went hard on crime
his
scene
instructions
contamination.
to you? What were you there to do?
Hard Dick Poon.
Number one, let me withdraw that question. Were you there to apprehend somebody?
Not at the time, no, sir. I was just there to assist where needed.
Assist doing what?
No,
Whatever
that's just
was
you,
needed
Flux.
of me.
Were you all attempting to determine what happened?
We there as initial responders were there to secure the scene.
Okay, secure the scene. And secure the scene for further processing by SLED?
By our investigators, I learned later on that SLED was responding as well.
So let me, by way of example, you went down to where Paul's body was. It was covered with a sheet. You see that on the video, correct?
Not when I initially responded, but yes, sir.
No, but the video what you saw.
Yes, sir.
And why were y'all, what was there a purpose of going down there and pulling the sheet back, looking around it?
I believe they were looking for another weapon.
What kind of weapon?
I believe they were looking for a 300 blackout.
But, I mean, we saw in the picture, if you look at Paul's body, there's no 300 blackout laying next to him, correct?
No, sir.
I'm correct.
Yes, you are correct. No, there was no 300 blackout laying beside him.
Okay, so you say you're down there looking for another weapon. Where were you looking for another weapon?
I wasn't, sir. I was assisting lifting the sheet for detectives.
And you concede you stepped into the feed room.
Yes, sir.
And based on the way Paul was laying, and of course you did have a flashlight, you were looking, trying not to step on anything. Did you have anything to insulate
Don't
your
step on the
feet?
flashlight.
And in some jurisdictions, they have little baggy things to put over their feet to make sure they don't contaminate the scene. Did you have those on?
No, sir.
And did you, when you stepped in, you got a flashlight, what you were looking at with the visible eye, you're determining you weren't disturbing the scene, correct?
That's correct.
You made an effort not to.
Yes, sir.
You don't know whether you did or you didn't,
To my knowledge, I did not.
but you can't say that you didn't. To your knowledge.
Can you repeat that?
To your knowledge, you didn't.
To my knowledge, I did not disturb anything.
Okay. But you would concede there's microscopic evidence sometimes at crime scenes, correct?
Yes, sir. That's possible.
And you didn't have a microscope.
No, sir.
But like SLED's crime team would look very closely, would they not? They would not, I mean, as far as I could tell, you were looking
That seems
basically
disingenuous.
3 or 4 feet away from the floor, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what you can see with the naked eye at night with a flashlight from 3 or 4 feet is what you base your opinion you didn't disturb anything.
That's correct.
Now, and you don't know why they were looking for another weapon, but you don't know what other weapon, you don't know where that weapon might have been. And again, multiple deputies had seen Paul's body before he was covered with a sheet, right?
Myself, Sergeant Green did.
Okay. For y'all, in your presence, any of the other officers with you there that night, did any of them discuss this as a possible murder-suicide?
It's possible. It's not to my recollection.
Okay. Now, when you were going out and we saw you mark a shell casing, was that in the grass or on the dirt road?
I believe the first one was in gravel.
In the gravel, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but you found others, right?
Yes, sir.
And to do that, you had to walk around in the grass?
Yes, sir.
And again, you got a flashlight, you're looking, and you don't know what was in the grass that you may have disturbed around those shell casings.
No, sir.
You don't know.
No, sir.
You may have disturbed something.
It's possible.
And I guess what I'm trying to ask is, why then were you trying to look for shell casings? Why couldn't you wait till the next morning? Why was this urgency? I mean, was somebody getting away, or, I mean, I don't quite understand why.
I can't answer that. I don't know. I didn't know if somebody was getting away or not.
Did somebody instruct you to go find shell casings?
No, sir.
You just did it on your own initiative?
Yes, sir.
And you concede that you may have disturbed or destroyed evidence in that process?
Microscopic or something I didn't see.
Well, microscopic, something down in the grass. I mean, you're walking on grass, right?
Yes, sir.
He's touching grass.
In the shed, in the feed room, but it's grass at night, correct?
Yes, sir.
And I guess what I'm trying to wonder is what y'all were doing. Were you trying to solve a crime? Were you trying to just index everything was there? And when did you find out SLED was coming?
So we're trying to mark everything there. As you can tell, there were multiple units going back and forth, fire rescue as well as sheriff's office. We try to mark it so that it brings awareness to them, and it doesn't.
What was that? I didn't see that.
I'm sorry, I can't understand. I can't hear you.
There were multiple units on
Well,
scene,
hold that up
sheriff's
again.
office as well as fire rescue.
Right.
The reason that I saw urgency to mark those shell casings is so that it brings awareness to those of us that were walking around and they don't become disturbed.
Well, that brings up the question, should you have been walking around? What if you got two dead people, whoever the perpetrator was, at that point y'all hadn't identified, had you?
No, sir.
Okay, so the perpetrator may be in the woods across the street as far as you know at that point, right?
Could have been anywhere.
Right. So you're not trying to solve a crime, you're processing a scene?
I'm not processing anything.
You don't know what you're doing.
What?
I just told you what I was doing, sir.
You're marking pieces of evidence.
Yes, sir.
And the urgency to do that was so that no one else would walk over them
Yes, sir.
while you're walking around them.
Around. Yes, sir.
Well, you don't know whether you actually stepped on one or not, do you?
I was very careful not to.
Okay. Now, let me also ask you this.
He's giving a better presentation, but his
The
shittier
pattern
point.
of the first shell
than he did
casing
with the first
was
one.
how far away
It's
from
choppy.
the
It's
people?
choppy.
I can't
Then
say.
you found,
The first shell casing I found?
yeah,
I'm not sure.
10 feet, 20 feet, more than me, further than,
Probably about the same distance from me to you.
okay. From the feed room door?
Yes, sir.
Now, I understand, and you fired, you got a blackout, right?
Yes, sir.
And when you fire that, does it eject to the right or the left?
To the right. Mine does.
To the right, to
So
the right.
if the feed room is where I am, that shell casing ejected to the right and forward, right and back? What do you know?
Are you asking where the shell casing was in relation to?
Always go front to back.
door.
I'm telling you, front to back, front
It
to
would have
back,
been
not
forward
left
and
to
right
right.
of the door.
Front to back.
And right of the door. And there was the pattern of casings leading, do they all lead to her body?
I can't remember.
Did you sketch where you found them?
No, sir. I did not do a crime scene sketch.
Have you ever done a crime scene sketch?
No, sir.
Tell me your training in crime scene processing.
It's very basic, limited, what you would get at the Criminal Justice Academy.
Very basic.
Yes, sir.
So you're not a crime scene processor. Again,
Because he wasn't processing the crime scene.
I'm just trying to puzzle it
He's
out.
trying to make the cop look like an idiot, and I don't think it's.
You don't know
It's
what
not
your
working.
role was there.
It's not working here. You just gotta move on.
I was a first responder.
Well, they were dead, Paul and Maggie, right? You couldn't render them any aid.
Your Honor, I would
No
object.
shit.
No question in that statement.
Is there a question?
Could you have rendered them aid? Were they in a physical condition where your assistance would have helped?
No, sir.
They were dead. Correct?
Are you asking? Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, let me show you a couple of these clips and ask about them here. And I've got times. We don't have to go through the.
God dang it.
That South
Would you go
Carolina
to
ramble.
1040. How does that read? Yes. I don't want to. Yes.
All right.
Okay, this is you walking, and these are the dog pens over here to the left,
Mop,
correct?
mop.
Yes, sir.
Mop.
And on, right in front of that, one of the dog pens is a hose that is neatly coiled around a hose, something holding the hose, right?
That's what it looks like.
Okay, go ahead.
Why?
Why? How about go to 11, 12?
How you doing? What's up?
Okay, now, this, Mr. Waters asked you about this just a moment ago when he said, how you doing when somebody walked up? You would concede to me that, but for that one quip, he appears to be distraught over the death of his wife and son.
He appeared visibly upset.
Yes, okay, other than this, how you doing, sort of thing, right?
Correct.
Okay, also, we see him in a t-shirt and a pair of shorts, correct?
Yes, sir.
I've looked at your report, I've looked at everybody that encountered him that night. No report indicates any blood visible on him. You would agree with that?
I didn't observe any.
What?
I did not observe any.
It's a white shirt.
Yes, sir.
If you noted blood on him, you would have put that in your notes or reported that to somebody, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How about, let me see, 1845. Stop 1 second. That's you apparently determining the shell casing you found is a 300 blackout, correct?
The one that I marked, yes, sir.
The one that was in the gravel.
Yes, sir.
That's all the video I have. Just a couple final questions. Since I have no further questions.
Read that right.
Very briefly, Your Honor.
Please, we got to hand this off so I can
Are you a
sleep.
first responder?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Your first job is safety, correct?
Yes, sir.
Second job is to protect the scene, is that correct?
Objection leading.
Thank you. Tell me what your jobs as a
Well, that was
first
an
responder are.
aggressive objection.
Yes, sir. We secure the scene, make sure there's no current threat for additional first responders. We then secure the scene, make sure that nobody comes in that's not supposed to, so that we preserve any evidence that's there.
As part of your training to avoid disturbing the scene as best you can.
Yes, sir.
Still paying attention to your primary role.
Yes, sir.
As part of your training and your experience and what you try to do is if you do see
Objection,
evidence.
Your Honor, leading.
I'll rephrase it. If you are on scene and you do see evidence while you were there, what is your standard operating procedure in that event?
I would mark it
And why do you do that?
just to bring awareness to it so that it's not disturbed.
Is your job to be a crime scene investigator?
No, sir.
You're just marking that? I'll rephrase.
He knew.
Yeah.
You were asked earlier about apprehending any suspects. Was Mr. Murdaugh ever in custody?
No, sir, not to my recollection.
To your observation, was he allowed to move freely?
Yes, sir.
Was he allowed to interact with people who came to talk to him?
Yes, sir.
Was he ever placed in the back of a police car?
Not that I'm aware of.
Never put in handcuffs?
No, sir.
Was he being treated as a suspect when you were there?
Not that I'm aware of.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank
Whoa.
What happened?
Randomly booted. Did that happen to you guys?
Yeah, that was weird.
All right, just in time for lunch break. We don't need to bring the camera back up. Wow, that was weird.
That was really fucking weird.
Huh. Wonder if it happened to anybody else. Doesn't seem to happen to
Your
anybody
stream's
else.
all right?
Looks like it happened. I guess it must have been them. Wow. Okay. Huh. All right. Anywho, there we go. I guess that's the end of the stream. Valhalla, thanks for being here. Legal Mindset, thanks for being here. We got like 7 minutes to turn this over. All right. Really quickly, what's happening here? The first responder, I thought the prosecutor didn't do a good job with the very first witness, the first officer on the scene.
So first witness out of the gate, he did not do well.
Yeah, I thought it was the prosecutor, the defense lawyer did a much better job. What do you think, Valhalla?
Yeah, I would agree.
And go ahead. The testimony the prosecution elicited from the first officer was that he got there was bodies, there was a lot of blood, there was an excessive amount of tire tracks, there was a dead chicken by the kennel. What else? There wasn't really anything else.
He did it.
The weird testimony. Yeah, that they just got from this officer. He's like, oh, my wife, her name is this. Oh, hey there. Oh, and God, I don't know what happened. It was that weird pause when he saw the second witness.
How you doing?
Yeah. Hey, how you doing? And the first thing he said, the first answer out of their mouth was, oh, a while ago, my son was involved in a boating accident, and people were threatening him, and they were hitting him a lot, and we didn't take it seriously, but maybe we should have. And I wasn't here for 45 minutes. I was down the road. That was literally the first thing he talked about with the first responding
just
officer.
An excited utterance, just blurting it all out.
Yeah, laying out his alibi. But the defense lawyer, he was really slow getting started. He boomered the shit out of everything. He presented some bad evidence. The judge yelled at him a lot. But once he got going, he really, really hit crime scene contamination. They cordoned it off. The police are walking around inside the cordoned off area. No foot protection. They're just wandering around, basically just contaminating the crime scene. I thought he did a really good job talking about contaminating the crime scene. And then it just kind of flipped for the second witness. The prosecution, I thought, did a much better job with the second witness.
Yeah.
That's kind of it. Not a lot of exciting detail. I thought they would come out with some sort of gotcha witness, but
yeah, I mean that's what was predicted when I was talking with Steve yesterday and Bronca a little bit after at the hours. They were saying, hey, you got to start with a great witness as the prosecution, because like I said before, people remember the beginning and the end. They're going to remember the first witness you bring on the stand, and if you kind of F it up on the first witness, it sets a bad precedent for the rest of your case in chief. And it sounds like they didn't come out necessarily swinging out of the gate with their witnesses on the prosecution side today. They've already effed that up, right? So that they've started with, a witness that the defense dealt with better, and now they're on a witness that, hey, maybe it's a toss-up, maybe it's a take it or leave it, but it's nothing that's damning from either of these witnesses, so it seems so far.
Doesn't seem like it.
Yeah. I mean, as the layman, what do you think, Valhalla? Give us your takeaway from the day.
He had me. So the first witness with the tire tracks and the crime scene preservation, I was on that. I was on board, right? I was tracking what he was putting down, and then he kind of did the same thing to the second cop, and the second cop, it didn't work so well on. So it's I don't know. I'm still waiting to see how much of the prosecution's opening statements play out.
Yeah. Wish we could see the video.
Yeah, that would help a lot.
That'd be good.
I know why they can't. I know it's grisly. I know it would immediately. By the way, it immediately get us yeeted so far for YouTube. It would be funny, but
for sure.
It still would let us see exactly what the jury's seeing. Of course, we can imagine it would be very graphic footage.
Well, and you can read a lot just from seeing his face. You know what I mean? Just from seeing how he's reacting to the whole thing would be beneficial.
Yeah, well, I asked James if he was in court today. He said he's not in court for the rest of the week, but we got him next week.
He's going to be in there next week. He is going to pop by my channel this afternoon just to say hi, to introduce himself for those who may not know him before.
Nice.
He's actually a really cool and secretly based dude, despite residing in Broward County. So I do look forward to that, and I look forward to speaking with him as he's in there in the courtroom, seeing it for himself and getting a firsthand view.
Well. Dang,
but I will say, after those dogs, I am ready to be 300 blackout. I'm not gonna lie. That was pretty fucking annoying.
I'm a dog lover, but there's a line. There's a line.
We've got a few quick seconds here to burn through these last few super chats. Then we'll send you all over to Legal Mindset. We'll feed you over to him and let him take you through the lunch in the afternoon. I've had like 2 hours sleep in the last almost 50 hours, so it's time for me to check out.
So that's an average Tuesday for you, right, Jeff? Jeff is very anti-sleep. He's very anti-sleep.
We'll call that an average work day. That's what we'll call that.
People in the office today were like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "Oh, I just got a cold, I think."
Just blame it on the opening the border to China. By the way, it was hilarious because they have all the signs up there where they test them, Jeff. Like when I was coming back from Singapore, where they get the test but nobody else does, and I'm like, oh, I love countries that don't have to, protect people equally. It's amazing.
Yeah, well, we get to take our masks off indoors on Monday, so yay for us.
Small
After
victories.
3 years.
Here, I'll let you grab those super chats. I'm just going to set my stream up, kind of get it going. It takes a second for Rumble, guys.
Yep.
So I'm going to head over there. See y'all over there in just a moment.
Nice
to meet you in 2 minutes. Yep. All righty. Well, here we go. We got a few super chats to burn through. Then we'll abandon ship. Holy Sheep says, "Crying, how's it going?" Proceed crying. Yeah, that was kind of a weird thing.
It was a little odd.
I mean, it doesn't prove that he killed them. It just proves he's kind of weird. Wild Red 300 Blackout has been making a comeback. A lot of people like to hunt with it. Okay.
I'm not sure if I've
Fair
ever
enough.
seen the round. I'm not sure if I've ever seen one.
Yeah. 300 Black Nuts. Eliza Blue's OnlyFans. No. No. Lordy.
I watched that
And
video
again.
the other day.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, me too.
Segment idea. Dick Poon's Friday Fung. I mean, we can do that. All right. That's the end of the super chats here. And Andrew is scheduled for his 3 o'clock startup. So, all right, I've got Court TV talking in my ear. So go away, guys. All right. Valhalla, thanks for popping in here.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
They didn't give us any downtime to talk, though, man. They just barreled through those.
Yeah.
We were hoping to have like a 30, like a normal lunch hour. So that's why Andrew came on like halfway through the supposed lunch hour. So we could do like a 30-minute conversation and then set him up for his afternoon stream. But damn, that was a long session.
Maybe I'll have to wake up a little earlier tomorrow.
Yeah, God, that was rough. Well, thank you for stopping by and watching the court with me. And
I appreciate you. Anytime, man. Absolutely anytime.
Go back to sleep. I'm going to sleep.
No, I'm up now. I got stuff to do now.
All right, everybody, back here tomorrow, as far as I know, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. We'll do it again. Love y'all. Take care, mods. If there are any of you left, Flux is here. Whoever here is still remaining, thank you for being here, chat. Thank you for being here. Hit the like and subscribe. How did our like and subscribe thing end? Let's check out how it ended. We currently have 497 viewers. We're all leaving to go over to Andrew, and we have 674 likes. And on our poll, our guilty or innocent poll, 8% of you said I hit the like and subscribe button because I think he's not guilty. 38% of you said you hit the like and subscribe button because you think he's guilty. And 54% of you are open-minded, saying you don't know, you need more evidence. Well, let's see how that changes tomorrow. Until then, again, thanks for being here. Valhalla awaits. We'll talk to you later.
Sounds
and
good, brother.
Talk to you later. Everybody hit like and subscribe, and then pop on over to Andrew. You should be filtered over there immediately, automatically. YouTube screws up about 60% of the time, though. And if not, there's going to be a little box up at the top of the chat that asks you if you want to go over there. If you click on that and it still doesn't send you, look for Legal Mindsets channel on YouTube and go over and join him.
I'll throw his link in chat for y'all.
Do that. quickly before before I shut us down. All right.
There it is, you guys.
All right. That's it. Everybody, take care. We'll see you. Have a great day, great morning, great evening, wherever you are. Whatever you're doing, Larax is out. Valhalla,
Later,
any last
chat.
words?
Later, chat. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Bye.